I just pressed live.
Hi, what's going on, everybody? How are you? Look at that. A little bit of call to action tech stuff going on. How's everybody doing tonight? Let's see our new intro, our new logo.
We're doing it anyway.
We're going to go ahead and do this thing.
That went up really quick.
It did go up really quick.
We're going to let it play out for a while. Yeah. You guys like it? Too much? Too little? You want to dance, Paul?
I'm dancing. A little bit of David B action. It's so hot. It's so hot. What's going on?
It usually takes a lot longer. Sorry.
It does. It does. We had this whole setup we were trying to plan, and let's come clean here. Alex has never done the intro screen before, is what we do for chill all the time. So I set it up. We're supposed to like go live and then hit her screen and everything else, and then it didn't work. So I was like, "Oh, what are we doing?" I was trying to teach her how to do something. Also, she hit live, and also.
It usually takes like a good 30 seconds for it to go live, though. It always takes like a good 30 seconds for it to go live. Now, this one, it went live like really quickly for some reason. It took like 2 seconds, and I was like, waiting, like I was literally about to press thing, and then you just started speaking, and I was like, what?
Well, here we are. So anyway, welcome to Call to Action Live, our 69th episode. I am not Kelsey. Unfortunately, Kelsey cannot be here tonight, but I will do my best to pinch hit as host. I will probably not be able to do as good a job as her, but I will do my best, like I said. But next to me is the one, the one with the hot takes, the one that my best friend sometimes and my worst enemy most of the other times. But she's beautiful. She's talented. Miss Alex Mack.
I'm the Loki to your Thor. That's what I'm hearing.
Could be Loki to my Thor. I'm definitely got the Thor body after Endgame.
You would like throw a hammer at me, but I'd catch it and I would be like, "That's cute."
How are you doing today, Alex?
I got a beer, so I'm like getting warmed up. I'm getting all toasty.
I got the Jameson on standby, so
I don't have. I ran through all my antibiotics. I can drink now. So
that is good for you. That is good for you. Yes, Michael, we're gonna get all the 69 jokes out of the way early. Come on, it's the 69th episode. We were gonna go Call to Action Live after dark, but we could not have that without Kelsey because she loves the after dark talk. So, But anyway, welcome to the show. You know how this usually works. We're gonna talk about Schmoedown, the week that was, the week that wasn't. In some cases, especially this week, we're gonna talk about some future news and. We'll talk about the show, and of course, we will take
or lack of show, potentially.
Or lack of show, potentially. That's true. We're not quarantined. We're here for you. Come see us every chance you get.
We're not going to leave the house anyway, even if we weren't technically quarantined.
That's true.
Let's be honest. I'm not going to lie.
I guess we're hearing a lot of people want to hear your hot takes on stuff. It just keeps like saying like there's Hellraiser. The Hellraiser talk.
Oh yeah, I've been trying to watch because technically over the past few weeks I've been kind of bedridden. It's kind of like for a long time I'm not supposed to I can leave the house, but for a long time I couldn't walk fast.
Oh right.
I couldn't walk fast. I can't lift anything more than 20 pounds, and I was kind of bedridden for a little bit. Like Lucas had to put on my socks. I was just like, I can't move my leg that way, otherwise it hurts. So Lucas was definitely being a champ and helping me out. But over the past few days, I've been a lot better. Thankfully, again, ran through all my antibiotics, so I'm set. But I have been trying to break out of my comfort zone and watch some movies I've never watched before, including Hellraiser. I'm actually in the middle of watching Candyman as we speak. Candyman. Not won't say that a few more times, but
we should save most of that talk. We will save that talk until we have the chat questions. I'm sure people are going to ask about the chat. We shouldn't go too far into it, or else we'll go way off topic. And then Kelsey will come like Candyman and whip our asses. So
only if we say it a few more times.
So Kelsey. What is actually?
We have the cats here to give us
there you go.
The presence of Kelsey.
All right, why don't we get right into it? Why don't we say that? We go with the first topic. We always go, don't call it a recap. We've been here for years. Now, there can be two ways we can start this recap. Either start talking about matches, or we can talk about all the hot topic news that came out. But I guess we should save that for news. So why don't we talk about the matches?
Okay.
The first match we had was Final Exam versus The Experiment. That was a fun match. I went to a meme making frenzy. I made like 5 or 6 memes as a result of watching those 2 matches, and I was very happy people liked them. I made the one with like the 3 dragon heads and with Shannon, Mark, and Elliot, and I made the other one with Hot Man with the Action Army and the Harloff one. Oh, the Hot Man.
I was making it in bed, and I turned over to Lucas. I was like, "Hey, do you think Harloff would find this funny?" Because I don't know. He's like, I can't tell with Harloff. Would he be like offended?
I think he gets it now.
So I just sent it to the approval of the general's chat and said, and then Brandon just took it and he just posted it. So I'm like, okay. That one and the Lon Harris one. I mean,
Lon Harris is quickly, I've always had a soft spot for Lon Harris. I even loved his professor character, and don't get me wrong, I loved what he was doing. But his quick juxtaposition, his change of persona to the delinquent, oh my God, that was a highlight for me. He quickly became another must-see character now at this point. He is hilarious.
Yeah, he's definitely fantastic. I mean, we had quite a few. I feel like, honestly, this match was the episode of character swaps, character turns necessarily. Right. Specifically, I mean, we had Lon Harris. He had quickly switched over, creating it was the first time we saw him in this new character of the delinquent. It was also the first time we saw Paul being in this Zen Buddha mode. Low-key is much more low-key, less glasses. He took off the jacket. Looks like he's been doing some yoga or something. But Elliot, he's a lot more chill. He didn't come in with any beer or fireball that I saw.
Chill is the right word, because I think he was actually very much more...
Okay. He was a little more reserved.
A little more worried that Shannon was going to bite his head off. That's what I
mean.
He looks scared.
You're sitting next to the guy that held the whatchamacallit in his hand.
The whatchamacallit.
That little thingy from Hellraiser. the one.
I'm interested to hear that. Let's go.
That one from that one. The Xenobite or her Cenobite.
The Xenobite. Yeah. Okay. There we go.
That and Mark, but Mark, I'm not gonna lie, I loved Lon. I think he was fantastic, but to me, I was gravitating more towards Mark. I thought he was delightful.
Oh,
I loved Mark.
He was good. He was good.
Xenobite, it's tomato. I could spell it.
Okay, fair enough.
Cenobite. Dude, come on. It's said once in the movie. Come on with it. Whatever.
Anyway, it's been a long time since I've seen the Hellraiser movies, but I love them.
Yeah.
But going back, I think Lon Harris has a chance. Brian Nussbaum said it earlier, and this is way too early to call it, but I think if this goes on, he could easily become kind of a comeback player of the year, because he had a
hold
struggle.
The fucking phone.
Already? Already? You're going to start this already?
Okay. Hold the fucking phone. Okay.
All right, we'll listen to this
guys.
For a minute.
Okay, so I'm already going to call it now. Rachel Silvestrini. It's going to be the comeback player of the fucking year. Okay. Calling it now.
I don't know if she can be a comeback player of the year, considering.
Why not? She was a 6th or 7th round pick. I don't want to say it, but her personal record, both in teams and singles last season, and she'll even admit it. She's like, I did not great. And she even's very vocal about it. She's like, I am coming for comeback player of the year next season.
See here, the Switchblade. I love the Switchblade, but you can't take her draft spot in regard to
sure, absolutely.
And on the way,
I get it.
I'm not sure.
I get it.
But I would think that Rachel had been already kind of going on the way up. I mean, she took Roca to the limit during the tournament, so it's not like she was
She still lost, though, unfortunately. When if you're talking about the top 15 competitors, does Rachel come up?
She's on the way up. That's what I'm saying.
She's on the way up, sure. Exactly. So
but a comeback means you went down first. Usually when you're comeback, you start somewhere, go down, and then come back up.
4 matches in a row.
But she was, I mean, Rachel never hit her full potential, I think. She's just starting now to get there.
Exactly.
So it's not a comeback player of the year. It most maybe.
But she lost like she lost almost every match but one, and that was a team match last year. If I'm wrong in this, and anyone in the chat, please tell me. But I've been wrong because from what I remember, I only remember her winning once with Devon. And I remember she played with Paul, and that was an awesome match where she did really well, but she still lost. She played against one other person, and I remember she talked about how exhausted she was, and she just couldn't pull it out, unfortunately. And she still lost. She played in another team match. She lost again, where people were talking about her potentially going heel after that. And she broke up with Devon as a result. But also she went with John Roca. Wait, is this 5 matches at this point? And then she went up against Roca, a champion, absolutely. But she went to the 3rd round, but still a loss.
But that is my point. In order to be a comeback player, you have to have a level, then go down, and then come back. She hasn't been there to come back. She's been kind of on a slow rise up, and like her last match. What
about her record has been a rise so far, though? Realistically,
well, taking Roca to the limit, she's starting to get the respect she deserves. That was the big.
Yeah, but she still lost. She got knocked out in the 1st round of the tournament. So it doesn't matter how close they got.
But was she ever at her level? She got to be at the level to come back to. That's what comeback means. Right now, I guess what comeback means. Comeback means you have to be. You have to be at a level to come back to. She was not at that level yet. She's just now getting towards that level.
Okay.
Lon Harris had success. Lon Harris had some success, and he fell, and now he's coming back. Comeback. That's the whole name of the thing.
No, I mean, honestly, I feel like she has more claim to a comeback player of the year over Lon because Lon did part of the team. He did actually pretty well part of a team.
Sorry's got it.
Okay, I can understand that. But even part of a team, he was very successful with JTE.
That's my point.
No, but also he did pretty well. Rachel has little to absolutely no success in last season.
Which is why you can't come back because you never had the success to come back to.
She's coming back.
You have to have a level of success.
Lon was never a great player.
Bullshit.
He came in with a lot of potential. He did okay.
He did well. He
went against really good with Corey Hall with his debut match, but that was Cody Hall. Sorry, thank you for correcting me. Cody Hall. However, that was it. The whole thing where he was supposed to. Oh wow, someone's actually on my side. Surprise. But they had to drop entire storylines because he lost like several times back to back. He never fulfilled his potential.
He came in hot. Jake. Let's see, Jake in the chat. Lon came in hot, so he had a spot already.
He came in hot with one match.
And then he fell, and now he's coming back.
Just like Rachel also won one match.
But Rachel never had quite the height that Lon had. Never had the respect.
No, she had a lot of hype going in. She had a supreme amount of hype going into it. Everyone talked her up.
Jake, no, you don't have to be great, but you have to have someplace to define the word comeback. What does comeback mean to you guys? What is a comeback? A comeback means you have to be somewhere to come back to.
Okay.
You have to have a place to fall.
Well, in that case, to me, Lon and Rachel were at the same place. They had a lot of hype going into it. Lon won his match at the very beginning. Then he didn't win until team matches. Then he won it with JTE. I said JTH, sorry. JTE. And it was like the Academy or something. I can't remember what the team was. Bring in his brother.
Evil Geniuses or whatever, right?
Evil Geniuses, thank you. And then they won another match. Okay. So he won like 2 matches.
But I'm saying that I don't think that Rachel ever had the respect she deserved anyway.
She had a lot of
she was with Devon. She was never going to win with Devon. That's what it kind of seemed like. I loved her. I thought she was very much underrespected. She's kind of like I've always said going into this year that she was going to be someone who's going to take it to the next level and get to that degree. But I just can't call that a comeback. I call that getting to where she's supposed to be. Lon, I feel like had the respect level, whether it was deserved or not.
He didn't get respect. He had 1 win.
No, he had more than 1 win.
Oh, sorry, 2 wins. Big flipping whoop.
He had a couple of good. He had a good showing at the free for all, I believe, in the first year he did it as well.
I'm sorry, if he's on like the top 5 people that are in the free for all, we don't really care. I mean, Roca was in like 7 rounds. I mean, but we don't talk about him
because Roca doesn't need anything because he has so much else. That's the difference.
Okay,
Roca,
sure. Okay, maybe we don't talk about Lemonade. What's his name? Lemonade that lasted for 5 rounds, surprisingly, and that's fine. Every other time, the lemon.
All right. Lon Harris is 4-4 and 5-3 in teams
from last year.
This is his career.
Can you pull that up?
Sure. My screen. I have to get my. Hold on.
Again, I really want to be proven wrong. I'm okay with that. There's nothing wrong with that.
I don't believe that for a second, but that's okay.
But I do feel like, to me, they're on the same level.
Hold on. Lon Harris. Okay, looking down Lon Harris's match history. Let's see. He beat Mark Burden. He beats Cody Hall. He lost in the free-for-all. He lost against Ethan Irwin, a champion level. He beat Josh McCougar. Okay. He lost to Ben Bateman, championship level. He lost to William Bibiani, championship level. Beats Paul Preston. And then loses to Paul Preston.
Okay.
So that's like a level where he's actually at a spot where his losses have been to real big champions. But he came in winning 2-0. Lost 1. Was 3. So at one point he was 3-1.
Okay, this is like you're looking at from like 2018. I'm looking at 2019 exclusively.
Okay, 2019 exclusively. He lost to Bibiani, a free for all loss. He beat Paul Preston, and then lost.
He won once.
And then in teams,
and lost out everything else.
Teams, he beat Superhero News by knockout.
Okay.
With Evil Geniuses.
Okay.
And then he 19.
19. Yeah. First. Oh wait, that's 18.
So he lost to critically acclaimed in a number 1 contenders match.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And then Supreme Intellect, he lost against Paddington 2.
Wait, okay? So Evil Geniuses, they became Supreme Intellect, right?
Correct. That was the one. I can't remember the other guy's name. He was in it. He was like the one time.
Okay.
I forget his name. Simon Thompson. That's his name.
Okay.
Yeah, the one match with him.
So what I'm seeing here is that he does have some wins and some losses. Absolutely. Mm-hmm. Let's go ahead and refer to Rachel's now.
Okay, let me get try. I'll find Rachel's. Hold on. Okay. Here's sometimes slow, so it is what it is. All right. 2019. Lost in the free-for-all. Lost to Paul Preston. Lost to Roca.
No.
What?
Well, free-for-all doesn't really count. No one actually expects to win the free-for-all.
Okay.
Unless you're
singles.
Good. Yeah.
She lost to Paul Preston and lost to John Roca.
Mm-hmm. So, I do see. Yeah. Yeah, she's lost everything except once. Against the movie guys? Was that really it?
Yeah,
against the movie guys? Wham. Whammy.
So to me, that one loss means she doesn't have a place. She's never quite gotten there. So it's hard to come back from that because she was never there to be back.
Okay.
I mean,
you know what? I will stand corrected. Okay, I stand corrected. You're absolutely right.
Somebody screen cap that, please, Jake. Just get that on record.
She will be most improved.
Absolutely. That I can get behind 110%.
Most improved. Absolutely.
I like that. So, okay. Well, then let's not. Right now, while we're agreeing for a second, let's move on. Anyway, so the match itself. It was a great match. They had the round 1. Everybody had everybody had a Dewberry except for Dewberry. Everybody had a perfect round, first round, except for Dewberry.
How often does that happen, do you think? I think it's only happened like a few times where it's where everyone has gotten perfect first rounds. But this one, all except one, but everyone did really, really well.
It seems. I honestly think that's going to happen more and more this year, especially because it seems like. I mean, we know the questions are being recycled a little bit. It does seem like
questions as well.
The first round questions are definitely a little easier than they had been in previous years. They're kind of making it up. So I wouldn't be surprised if that happens more and more. I wouldn't be surprised to see all 4 people getting it. Dewberry at one point. But so I don't know. It's hard to say. But they had a good first round. So excuse me. It was great to see Paul and Lon working together so well in the first round. And Mark did really well too. So it's definitely a good start for both of them.
Sorry. I just want to pause for a hot minute. Michael Samblis, if this were the old days of Action Army, I was there for the old days of Action Army, so whatevs. Alex would be eating mayo sandwiches right now, and I'm okay with that as long as it's Japanese mayo, because Japanese mayo is the shit.
Japanese mayo. I don't think I ever had Japanese mayo, to be honest with you.
Yeah. I used to eat Japanese like mayonnaise all the time when I was little. It's like it's an Asian thing.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Fair enough.
You get it like for super cheap at the Asian market. So yummy.
Okay. Well, then we hit round 2 at that point. Final exam won the spin, or you won the chance to spin. And,
well, do you want to talk potentially about Shannon? Do you think she pulled a Kate Mulligan? Do you think Shannon pulled a Kate Mulligan?
I don't think so. Do
you think it was bad? I mean, so basically both of them were given opponent's choice, which happens very rarely.
Yeah.
So that's crazy right there. But the experiments also got so the experiment, I can't remember what they gave the others. I think it was 90s. I feel like considering their age, both of them, they're like under 35 years old.
The experiment was
why would you give them the 90s? So I mean, that's a little weird to me.
I think what it was, and I could be wrong, is I think that Paul, for whatever reason, he puts classics as a strength. I wonder if just instinctively they thought that. Reason? No, not for whatever reason I'm saying, but I'm saying I think that because he puts it as a strength, you might not equate the two. So if the classics is your strength, you don't equate something like the 90s as a strength too. You know what I'm saying? You hear somebody's a class. It's like Lon is a classics guy as well. And for his whole Professor shtick, he definitely did better on it with classics. At least that's from memory. I don't know. I have stats for backing it up. But classics versus more newer releases. So I think Paul, maybe because of that, they went with that. So I mean, I don't know if it was right or not. I mean, obviously they knew their stick. They had their stick pretty well.
I mean, like there was a lot of other new slices that were there. I feel like would have been better.
I will say that too.
Okay, you're right. I was just referring to that. But if there's another thing we can call it, Jill, please let me know, because I just I was referring to that kind of situation where managers could have influenced.
I will say I think it's also
that's what I was referring to.
I will also go back to say that it's also the player's responsibility as well, and they know themselves even better than, especially when Kate just started out that it was the first match together. They got to take some responsibility for it. I think they have taken it themselves, but Kate's a good manager, not going to let them take the heat. That's what I think.
Yes, they could give a recommendation, but at the end of the day, they are adults. They should know better, and it's their choice. But also, they were the experiment. They were given young adult adaptations, and just saying, if you look back at our reaction, we did really well.
Of course you did. I knew you would. I love seeing that on the board. I thought that you would love this shit right here. They did not do as well. They did okay, I think.
Yeah, right? That's if you put in a girl our age, they would be like, no, but
it didn't seem like that would be in Mark's wheelhouse, and Dewberry not so much either.
They did okay considering they were really close.
They didn't do bad. They did a good job of as they say, navigating through the waters, so to speak. But
yeah.
But yeah, it worked out well enough for the final exam. They had it pretty much in tow at that point. And there wasn't much else for it. They had at the end it was 30-20. So I mean it was almost pretty much it was almost over at that point. They had to really kick ass at that point. So. Yeah,
I mean but two rookie teams doing that well point wise is huge. Usually you don't see such I hate to call them low ranking teams, but they're both rookie teams. Those are team debuts, so they are technically low ranking teams, and it's very rare do you see low rookie teams like that score in the 30s and almost 40. That's unheard of.
It is.
You only get teams like top 10 or critically acclaimed or whatever point that high.
Theoretically, I mean, I guess.
Yeah, usually, but I mean, again.
Saul is calling you out, just so you know. Saul always calls you out. We love Kate. Yes. I will say that too. We do love Kate. So justice for Kate indeed. We got it, guys. We got it.
It's mistakes happen. Whatever. And also, I don't blame Kate. To me, she's very new at the game. I just want to clarify. Things like that happen. I do blame kind of her competitors.
They have to know. They have to know.
If 2 + 2 equals 4, but someone else tells you it's 5, like, you don't say it's 5. You don't keep telling people it's 5. It's 4.
But regarding going back to your statement about them being young teams, I mean, they are a young team, but they are very, especially on the final exam side, they're very seasoned players. Lon's a very seasoned team player. Paul, I'm glad to see a team as well. Because Paul, I was actually worried about Paul. Not worried is the wrong word, but after he got his ass kicked at a Spectacular, and he'll tell you that himself. He got his ass kicked.
Mm-hmm.
I was glad to see him come out and pretty much didn't seem to be shaken at all. He kind of came in, did his thing, answered everything right on. I saw no rust from him, so that's good to see. I hope that continues. I want to see him in singles now, especially when he goes up against Roca. We'll have to see what happens there. But it was good to see him. And like I said, Lon didn't let his character get in the way. He had a good run as well. So I think even though they're a young team, sometimes it's easy to, when you have seasoned players like that and you cover the bases that are needed, you don't take a lot of time to get the team vibe rolling. You just need someone to be able to play the game right. And that's the thing, is Lon's always suffered with that a little bit, but Paul is very good at the game. He's very good at the game. So once you have that, I kind of knew that this was going to be a good team, and I was not surprised to see them in the 30s, to be honest with you. With regards to the other side, the experiment, I don't think Mark or Elliot have ever proven much as far as gameplay goes, and that's going to be an issue for them. They're knowledge-wise, they're good. I haven't seen anything spectacular about how they play the game. So,
honestly, yeah. They didn't choose. I don't feel like they chose correctly. In their slice again. Choosing 90s, but again, that's. I'm not sure, I'm not sure if there's one person we can blame for that, but also these are two very different competitors where Mark Hoik is last season, he played 1 or 2 matches, and he's very new. And I remember chatting with him in LA, and he was like, yeah, I've never really seen it. I don't know any of these people. I was brought on board a week before recording, and I just watched a few matches, and I thought, okay. So he was just going off what he already knew. So this is this idea of strategy. It's a very new process for him. So I'm wondering if he's going to be a quick learner through this. But Elliot, as far as I can tell, he's never really had to actively strategize. Yeah, being part of being with part of Wild Berries and being with Wildman, that's awesome and everything. But you're not getting a championship level match when you're being part of the Wild Berries. That's not your focus. You're there to have fun. You're there for some Wild Berries. Wild Berries. So gotta be realistic. So he's kind of going into this new kind of team where you have to strategize, you do have to study, you got to have your shit on point. And so this is very much a learning curve for both of them.
Absolutely. I will say that that's another thing about new teams. Also, just got to discover on their side what their strengths are and how they overlap. Paul and Lon have their certain strengths, but it becomes a lot more nuanced as far as how they can cover the gaps that they do have, and they didn't show many gaps this time. So it's a good start. I honestly think they could be championship level material if they keep it up together. But
honestly, I feel like individually, they both are honestly championship and level material. Championship level material. The experiment just needs some extra push. They need to strategize and actually build some of that team chemistry, because it was clear that wasn't there yet.
Right.
So
I don't know. I'm sorry.
Maybe he needs to put on a leather jacket or something, or maybe he needs to grow out his hair. I don't know. Maybe he'll need to stroke the Cenobite or something a little bit, get under its curse.
I definitely want to say, like you said,
who knows?
When you said that Mark hasn't been around the game very much, and he just obviously, I don't think he's been around the game yet still long enough. I don't know enough of his weaknesses and strengths myself. I know he was on Beat the Geek for a while, so he's obviously probably good at most geekdom style movies, but maybe not quite inner geekdom. But he's an older guy. They tend to have their wheelhouses. They tend to have their wheelhouses in the 80s. 80s are probably big for him. The early 90s are big for him.
I remember him I asked him like what he thinks his strengths are.
Mm.
And he said, "Oh, I was thinking because I was standing next to we were at the table with like Mike and Shannon, like, and I was like chatting with Mark, and I was like, oh, do you have any idea what your strengths would be? You know, based off what you've seen and everything. I don't know, maybe some German coming of age films, 70s romance." And I saw Shannon be like, she did like one of those looks.
I think he's just throwing y'all off.
I'm hoping so. I really like. I kind of wonder if it was just an act. I don't know, but he's such a cool guy. He is really nice.
He is.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, okay, so we know how it ended up. They ended up winning 30 to the final exam started winning 30 to 25, and that made sense. They didn't have to do much more than that. So at the end, we'll have to see what goes on next for these teams. But I do think I see a quick ascension for final exam at this point with the experiment. I see another match. Let's see how they go, and we'll test where they are at that point. I mean, corruption is not doing all too hot right now, with the exception of
they just won
the one match. The corruption themselves. I mean the corruption.
The faction.
Saying.
Okay.
I mean, corruption luckily pulled it out, and I'm still crying about that a little bit. But they're definitely. They're sagging a little bit compared to some of the other factions.
Well, point-wise, they are technically the lowest scoring. They only have one win for like 4 or 5 faction matches overall, over singles and everything. But we haven't really gone into IG all that much, aside from the one in Atlanta. So keep that in mind. But also on top of that, you know, it's a very long season, and we're barely a month and a half into it. So, you know, we got a lot of matches coming up. I am kind of curious, however, with that in mind, usually I know from how it goes, like there's like 2 or 3 factions that kind of dominate like the first half, like the first quarter kind of thing, while they do filming and everything. They film those matches, and so the next quarter they film a lot. They're probably going to focus on more of the quirky mercs and the rock stars and things like that. They're going to focus on those teams as well in the next quarter.
Well, that's kind of my point.
Yes,
that's kind of my point though, because the corruptions are not getting their points now. So
the thing is, if they, with that in mind though, if they would in order for their matches kind of go into like, you know, the follow-up matches and everything, they need to win very, very quickly outside of corruption, the team.
Right. And yes, I know rock stars only have 1 win as well.
They've only played like in 1 or 2 matches though.
One of which we're about to go into, actually.
Very true.
Our next match. Good segue there. Now we go into the Ethan Irwin versus Jeff Schneider. Overall thoughts was it went pretty much how I thought it was going to go. The outcome was pretty much as how much I thought it was going to go. I kind of went in thinking Ethan Irwin was going to win. I kind of thought that there'd be a moment that Jeff Schneider would be frustrated with, and it would end up losing and not costing him the match. But
do you think that's his downfall? Like I have a hard, like everyone that I've talked to, whether it be through episodes like these or anything, I know personally, I remember if I would have had put my money on it, I was like, yeah, Irwin. But I can't really explain why I would put my money on Irwin. It's just a gut feeling. And also if you look at their specific records and everything, but at the same time, like I have a hard time saying this person's going to lose because they're passionate and potentially emotional. You know what I mean? I don't like saying that.
I do. I know what you mean. I picked Irwin for the same reason. I think that for my money, and I could be proven wrong, so I don't want to show any disrespect to anybody, I think that Jeff Schneider is a better teams player than a singles player. He's also better with Roxy because he seems to have gotten a little bit under control, but he is a wild card that he's an emotional guy and that he can lose it even briefly. And when you lose it briefly, it can be enough to be. So, I mean, when you go up against somebody like heavy hardcore You can kind of do get away with that against some people.
But we don't talk about Roca or Kalinowski in that way.
But because they never. Well, I talk about Kalinowski about that all the time. To be honest with you, I always say that about Kalinowski. That's why I predicted Spets was going to get in his head and it was going to be over. And I actually predicted that Ghai would get in his head in the corruption match, and I think he did. I think that when I went back, I talked about it before. I think that Chance was the reason why they won, and that's exactly actually my point. If that had been, and why I'm actually predicting Andrew Ghai could beat Kalinowski in a one-on-one match, because I think Ghai could get into Kalinowski's head and rattle him enough to cause that kind of distraction. For the teams level,
oh my gosh, that was so good though.
With the teams, Chance was
sorry, go ahead.
Chance carried the team, was able to pick up any of that slack, or when Mike did have a rusty first round, Chance was able to pick him up. Same thing if it was a teams match, it was the Odd Couple versus Irwin and Irwin and James White, I think it's going to be. If Schneider had that rust, then maybe that Andreyko could have picked him up possibly. That's why he's better as a team player. He's less likely to get into his own head. He can beat anybody if everything goes his way. If that makes sense.
Well, you can say that by anyone. Yeah. Anyone can beat. Well, Kalinowski can literally beat anyone. He could probably beat Dan Murrell if he spun James Bond movies every second round. I mean,
absolutely.
That's not going to happen, though.
But Jeff has a history of getting in his own head. That's true. I mean,
okay. Well, okay. So, what are some other competitors you feel like can get "quote unquote" emotional? I don't like to say emotional. I feel like emotional is such a weird word to describe these competitors. I like to think of just very passionate. So what are some other competitors that do you feel like you might be?
I think I said Mike is that way. I think he is that way. I like Mike a lot. I think he's a great player, but he does get he's almost too much into it sometimes. I think actually Andrew Ghai has done that as well sometimes. He misses a question, he kind of lets it linger a few times.
Oh, the descent one. I know that one.
Absolutely. Roca, I don't think Roca does that anymore. He gets emotional during the match, but he tends to be able to rebound and refocus. He'll talk about it afterwards and call it out afterwards. But in the moment, he'll be like, "Oh fuck," but then he'll refocus at that point.
Okay.
I think who else? Darren Bad says that Bibiani can get thrown off at times. I think that's sometimes true. He can. I don't think it's quite as bad as some others, but he definitely can linger.
Whitney would be a little more have that reaction much more so than Bibbs, to be honest. Looking back at some of his where he's just like, where he seems like in the match itself, he's just like, but you can tell he really kind of, after he gets something wrong, it's like a flip, a switch flips essentially, and he has a hard time like you can see the tension just really ball up on him.
Right.
And after, I feel like especially when we saw him in his singles matches, where he tries to act a little nonchalant about it, but it really doesn't come across very nonchalant. What do you think about? Well, Starger, I know mentioned specifically. Where was it? Hannah. Starger Hannah might be emotional.
I don't see Hannah in the match being emotional. I think after the match you can get emotional, but overall, I think during the match I don't really see it very much. I thought you say pretty cool overall, but I could be wrong.
Yeah.
I don't know what I do.
I can see him definitely being like pissed.
Yeah, I can pissed.
I can see him being pissed, but not so much.
I see him doing more of the after the match, kind of being upset about it afterwards. Yes. Like during the match, he kind of like lets it go, but like otherwise, he gets pissed. I think that's the way I saw it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, but sorry. I know I kind of took it off course a little bit, but I mean, I do feel like that's something that needs to be kind of addressed. I think managers are definitely taking much more. They are trying to kind of work with them a little bit more, trying to really hold in some of their emotions, and really so much of it is psychological. And not, obviously competitors know that, but managers, that's like one of their big focuses, like helping them deal with that and bring it in.
So we had Ethan Irwin and Jeff, and they both had, I believe they have a perfect first round each. I can't remember if they both did or not.
They only one of them has a perfect first round, I believe, and that would be Irwin. I want to say, I think, and Irwin, I believe he got the extra point as well. I'm not sure.
Maybe him in the chat will help us out, but either way, they both had good first rounds.
Solid first rounds.
Second rounds come, and Ethan spins Julia Roberts, and then takes it.
Mm-hmm. Oh my gosh, those were some easy fucking questions, though.
For if you're a Julia Roberts fan, some of them, yeah, I'll throw them.
Big, huge. Everyone and their mom knows that. My grandpa knew that, and he doesn't even watch movies. He actually avoided the movie theater. Fair
enough. He did a good job. I don't think he did as good as well as he thought he was going to, though. That's the point I was making. He kind of like. I think if he had it over again, I almost feel like he would have spun a gun. I do feel that way because it didn't seem like he was very Irwin.
Just saying, I actually annihilated that round. Just saying, but whatever.
Well, Irwin definitely has some weaknesses. Obviously, they're not as pronounced. His family usually it's like animated. That's probably his action figures feeding him into that.
Just like what was it, Barbarian's like mink scarf thing?
Elvis.
Everyone feeding him answers.
Elvis, absolutely.
He's like, "What's the answer, bro?" Oh, Jumanji.
That's right. But it did well, and he did enough that he was able to get by. But then Jeff actually obviously had the next round, and he was able to get Paul Thomas Anderson after doing Spinner's Choice. And Paul Thomas Anderson was a very, very high success rate for him. It was obviously definitely a strength for him. Mm-hmm. So much so that he had a pretty sizable lead at the end.
Yeah. He had a huge lead. Yeah, you can say it was like a big, huge lead. Yeah. But sorry to jump back over to Julie Roberts, though. That was also a Patreon question, so you can't really change that.
Yes, Julian. I told her that. I told her that 1,000,000 times.
Who's Elvis?
That is his minx. That is the Barbarian's friend.
Is it Jill?
It's Elvis.
Jilly Bean.
He's called it that.
Jilly Billy.
That's the name. Show some respect for Elvis.
Every flavor.
He's a champion in the league. He will be a champion in the league anyway.
Let's calm that down.
We do need to check about it. It is kind of weird. I don't know. It's to see. He did try to get points, or he tried to get a spot in the free for all in the pre-match scene there, but Clark Wolf wasn't having any of that. By the way, speaking of the pre-match scene, I keep saying pre-match scene, it does seem that Christian or whoever is finally getting in touch with the idea that Snickers equals ratings. We get a Snickers appearance.
You think so? Or was it just more like incidental that I brought him in?
You show Snickers, you get ratings. He knows that. I think everybody's
no, that's not the way it works. Sure, in theory, but Snickers, I love Snickers. Snickers is the cutest fucking dog ever. However, the episode is going to get ratings no matter what. So we can't really say this like 2-second part, including Snickers, is kind of.
Don't you do anything to besmirch my friend Snickers. Snickers is ratings, and I'm not going to hear anything differently.
Okay. Sure. You drink that Jameson, buddy.
I will. Thank you. I will.
You drink it.
It was good. Yes, it was. You're right. Absolutely.
Maybe I'll bring my cat on board, and then we'll get yours.
That's a surprise. My cat hasn't shown up. Usually by now it has. But yeah, Malcolm brings up a good point too. That Clark pre-scene match was pretty funny. I like seeing that go down, getting more and more angry.
Lucas, I just want to clarify. If anything, we need more Snickers. We need consistent amount of Snickers.
I agree.
We need a consistent amount of Snickers for like a solid month in every single episode to really be able to determine how much it's going to improve. So I'm advocating for more Snickers.
Okay.
All the time.
As long as that's the case, I will not get upset at this point. I'll wait to get upset later on. But anyway, we did have so the final round, Irwin came back and we had that moment where Jeff really got mad. That's during round 3 or round 2. I remember one point where they actually had to beep him because he was so pissed that Irwin had to use a repeat, but got the question right on I believe it was the William Friedkin question.
Oh yeah, for Killer Joe.
And like he said, like it was like a repeat, and then he said it. I don't know if Irwin was doing it on purpose or if he was actually taking the time to pull it. I couldn't tell. Either way, Jeff was so pissed. And that was the downfall we were talking about. The downfall we were waiting to happen. He could not do anything else at that point. But there is the argument that can be made that he did say in the post-match interview that he just didn't know the 5-pointer, and that was it. The 5, he just didn't know it, and there was not going to be any way around it. But I almost felt his eyes, like looking at his eyes, it just felt like so defeated at that point. Once he got that, that 3 cancer was done, Schneider just was all over.
He was all. I mean, not only that. Keep in mind, he filmed this right before he got sick.
Mm-hmm. That's very true.
I mean, maybe he sure. I mean, it wasn't the best situation to be in. He would have optimally, walked away with that win. But at the same time, hey, if he can definitely do a comeback player of the year, that'd be epic as well. Especially as a singles competitor. That's what I mean. Obviously, they're wonderful with the odd couple, but I mean, singles competitor, he's like hit and miss. I feel like. But that's here or there. But I would love. I'm really curious. Oh, hi. Thank you. I have wine now.
Lucas is our hero, the hero we don't deserve.
Okay. I smell an aroma of grape. Is that how it works? I just swirl this around for a little bit. But honestly, I do feel like I'm also during the post-credit scene. I mean, there is that look of his defeat. I feel like there was a lot going on right now for him and Pardaler. But also on top of that, his singles ratings is not very hot in general. He could have been sick at the time. And what was that little snapback between him and Mark Andreyko?
Yeah, that was interesting.
Is that a storyline?
It's always hard to tell. It's
the odd couple breaking up?
I don't think they will. I think maybe. I wonder if sometimes they don't. Tell him, Joe. That's what happens.
I can smell it from here.
I do think that I wonder sometimes if Christian's been like doing subtle hints with sometimes, like almost like you throw that at the table, and then if a couple loses, they could break up. But it could be something that's forgotten, and you just don't know about later on. Don't think about it anymore. Like, you don't think about the snapback later on too much if nothing ever happens. But if it does happen, where the odd couple loses and they want to break them up, they could use that as like, oh, look, this happened back then, see, and show you a storyline. So
yeah,
I think it's a wonder if the subtle thing that they do sometimes you let it.
I wonder if this is like one of those plot points where it's just like if they lose a team match coming up, I wonder if this is a suggestion that they would have to break up.
Could be. I don't think Roxy would do that though, because I think Roxy's so gung ho about like supporting the odd couple. I just don't see it happening. But maybe it'll come into play. Maybe that's how they start getting Roca. That's how they try to get John Roca. I mean,
oh my gosh, I want the founding fathers to break up so bad. So bad. Please break up. Break up.
So they say it's
I want a heel Roca back so bad.
I want to get Roca back.
I want my heel team back so bad.
But
why can't we have it? I love corruption. They're definitely a heel team. The corruption faction in general very heelish, but at the same time, I want a real heel team now.
Yeah. Well, you got a lot of potential coming on. I mean, let's talk. I mean, talk about that now. I mean, pretty much further as everything to do about Irwin and Schneider. There's a lot of potential movement. I mean, you have the Alcohol breakup. You could have Roca talking all he wants. Ghai had mentioned specifically that he thinks that the usual suspects could trade him at some point because
potentially.
Jim McQueenie's retirement, at least. So there's a lot that could happen.
Well,
yes, please. please.
I just they're just so undefeated right now.
No.
They're at number 1. They're light years ahead of everyone else, and it's frustrating as fuck. And I respect that. They win tremendously.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they deserved every win, but at the same time, it's just like they've won for so long, and all of them are champions. Just like
I know. It would be better if we get something new.
We need a little spread it out a little bit. Spread the love.
Yeah.
Spread it.
Absolutely.
Let's talk. Spread the love.
I still think we need an action faction. That's what I want. I want an action faction at the end.
Who can manage the action faction?
I mean, I'd have to. I mean, if she already has the rock stars, I'd throw Roxy in there because Roxy's the first lady of the Action Army for various other reasons, not necessarily Schmoedown wise, but for other reasons. So
I can definitely see that. I would also put if I would love that, but it's just so in that case, would Roxy be managing Ben? To me, Roxy's a really great competitor. I mean, it's a really great manager as far as like helping her players out with like making sure they're not getting in their own heads and things like that, and helping them, giving them promotional support. However, I don't know if she's like the big hype man behind Action. I can't picture it, to be honest.
I mean, I don't know. Kaiser Gucci clean side. That could be. That could be.
I could see that. I don't know if I could picture them in like a suit though.
Now this is what I can get behind. Robert Adams. I could totally get behind.
Yes, I would be 100% into that.
Although this just latest faction that would sway me. A little pregame Jameson that would definitely sway me to.
I'll buy a shirt right now. Right fucking now.
We'll call it Jelly Beans. Is that a team name for you? But either way, though, you're right. I think that's a good one too. Miss who we should manage. That would be an awesome. I could just see her like getting a suit, like a business suit, and being like she talked about that at one point, possibly about like there was a mention of her wanting to join Action at some point. And they had a character that they were going to do with her, some kind of lawyer character or something like that.
Yeah. Well, remember when her and Kalinowski were supposed to be a team?
Right. All seems kind of extended to happen.
And they did those like really cool promos and pictures and stuff, and it just went nowhere. And I was like, oh, what could have been?
I know. So who else would be on the Action faction though? We have Miss Movies. Let's put Miss Movies on top. I'll put Action. Obviously, Ben and Drew.
Okay. You want to hear like a potential wish list?
Go ahead. Let's do it.
I would love if Sam Levine came out and joined Action. Can you imagine him suddenly being this nice guy turned crazy super asshole? Being like coming out with a suit, dapper as fuck, and then suddenly he's like, I'm going to do you guys exactly what I did to all those Nazis. I'm going to scalp you. I could totally see him doing it. And it's in a really cool way. Plus, I just really love the idea of seeing like Sam not be a face. But again, I know in a perfect world, what could have been.
Also got some other ones. Maybe Janine would be another good one because she definitely fits in the attitude area of Action. I know Janine the Action Army, right, Jake?
I felt. Hey, do we have like a list of all the competitors?
I don't know. We have it anywhere.
Oh, you know who else? It could be like an Action member, like Action Army member in training. Saul. Like picture picture like Ben and Ghai like sitting Saul down and be like, dude, if you want to be in the Action Army, what's this? What's up with the beard? And he's like, well, it's my thing. I love my beard. And they're like, well, if you got to be in the Action Army, and like we need you clean cut. We need you in a fucking suit. And I don't know if you can do it. But Saul's like, but I can do it. I just I like my beard. And then Action Army is like, how dedicated are you to the team? Come on.
I don't like what you're throwing down there at all. I'm sorry. No, Saul without his beard would be just wrong.
I'm right. It's okay. I'm right. You're wrong.
All is wrong. Saul could be a part of it, just not without the beard. How about Hitman? The Hitman. He's part of the army.
He's already in the suit.
Got the suit. I think he can do that.
I don't know if he's. I don't know if edgy is the right word.
Really? You don't think he's edgy?
I just don't know if he's edgy enough, if that makes sense.
Oh, I disagree. Hardcore with you. Yes, that is true. That is very true.
I love Hannah. I think I feel like he's one of the absolute best best competitors on IG right now. He's like one of the competitors to beat. Him and Chandra cannot wait for their match coming up.
Think about his snark. His snark level can be extremely high. One of the funniest guys I know. I think he could totally pull off the Bateman guy energy. Hot man. The hot man is going to be the one.
I just want to maybe if he took off the jacket and replaced it with like a leather jacket or something. I don't know. He just seems so businessy. I know. I mean, like, not in a good way. No, scratch that. No, that sounds really bad, really bad. But I mean, like, if it's just he can blend in anywhere like a hitman, and he can. What are you doing? Are you getting me more wine?
Yes.
Terrible.
He was at one point.
Not bad. No.
And Jake, you know exactly what we're referring to.
But I mean, it's just he feels very clean cut, if that makes sense.
And Ben and Drew don't, in a way. Ben and Drew are pretty much
clean cut in any way.
Their looks, when they wore their suits and stuff, they were very clean.
They don't feel clean cut though. They feel like frat boys that happen to wear suits. They feel like asshole frat boys that happen to be wearing. No, scratch that. You know, I got a better analogy. They're like the guys, the businessmen from American Psycho, only about movie trivia instead of acquisitions.
I don't think you.
I was like, I really want a business card. Oh God.
I don't get what you're doing.
Even at the watermark.
I don't get throwing down. And yes, we know no one's leaving the den. We got it.
I love all this. This is strictly hypothetical.
All hypothetical. Chris Adams, yeah, absolutely. Brand to be a great manager. I agree. Okay. So we have Hitman, Hot Man.
Jump into my vision, okay? It's really
I'm scared. I'm very scared to be in your vision.
Do you not think that they're like the other businessmen from like the vibe and everything from American Psycho?
I don't. Not at all. Not one iota.
Meet at Dorsey is at 7:00 on a Thursday. It's the hardest reservation in New York City. Okay, that's a movie reference that no one got, so never mind. Y'all suck. Whatever.
Anyway. Is there anybody else you'd want in the action faction? Anybody? Silvestrini would be another good one I like. I think she could be the switchblade. Could be good. We are technology.
Actually, I can see her. Absolutely. I feel like they could train really well together as well.
Let's get out of the den, though. You know what? We're taking pretty much.
I didn't think about.
Smetsy would be another action army type person that would handle it very well. I think. Kevin. Smasher. Oh,
no, yeah. I know who Smets is. Jesus. Mary and Joseph.
I know you do. I'm just saying it. I am just enunciating it.
I don't know.
You don't know. What don't you know?
I don't know. I mean, like, I can't really envision him without his hoodie, let alone without his manager. So.
Well, that's true. I actually, that they bring up a point that Kaiser would be.
Like, I think of Kaiser, I think of Smets. I feel like they're like the unbeatable combo. So I can't really imagine separating them. So. The
Cinefanaction faction, maybe? How about that? We'll do that. I'll throw them in there as well.
The fan action faction.
The Cinefanaction action. I don't know. Sean Sullivan, Sean Sullivan's coming in hot. Traveler,
Oh, you know what?
We haven't talked Star Wars players yet.
I can totally picture Sean doing it.
Oh, absolutely. We got just getting a
fucking suit, putting out business cards.
We'll just have to do the Irish jig in Star Wars format. That's all.
They would definitely need a Star Wars competitor.
And Sean, yes, I would get there. I was going to get there.
IG, who knows? Just saying.
Either one. Anyway. Oh, that's a good way to wrap that up, I guess. Anything more about the matches? Anything else specifically, or any other cutscenes or anything you need to, or should we move on?
How likely are they going to actually come together? Like, honest to God.
Action?
Yeah, that's not going to happen.
It's going to happen at some point. I don't know. I'm not saying
3 years. Until
3 years? No, I think it's going to happen
a year and a half. Who knows? Before the end of the year, maybe we'll get a teaser. But it will be a live event. It will be the best thing ever. Son of a bitch.
Possibly. What is Jake doing? I'm really looking for. Anyway.
What are you doing? What? What are you doing? Want to say hi?
Do you want to say hi?
I'm just here to say that PLD is not a thing.
Anyway, going back on.
What you're saying, PLD is definitely not a thing.
No, Paul has been wrong on every single fucking thing that he said tonight, and Alex has been right on everything. So I just wanted to let that be known.
Okay. Oh my God! All I have to say, Alcavetta. What are you? How much have you been drunk tonight? And
eat a dick. That's it. I just wanted to pop in and say that Paul is wrong, Alex is right. That's all it is.
Well, Jake, it's okay. You can be wrong too. It's perfectly fine for you to be wrong. I have no problem saying that. Alex, stop that, Alex. You know you are. Yes, say it. There you go. No.
Oh, fuck you, Buck.
You traitor. Yep. And PLD is totally a thing.
It's not.
Okay.
Malcolm, really, Malcolm.
Cutthroat, yes, cutthroat. He is being cutthroat right now. Okay,
well, I'm gonna let you get back to what you're doing. I just needed to pop in and say that Paul is just not. He's not right at all.
That's all I have to say there, Jake. That's all I have to say. Remember when Jake threw a Champs lunch shirt in the trash?
Yeah, and then you.
I remember that.
Yeah.
I remember that.
It happened.
It happened. That's right. So just like you and Alex, you can go to the same room and be wrong together. It's fine.
You know what, Paul? I'm not going to call you PLD because PLD is not a thing. I'm going to message them and ask how they would feel about my little American Psycho description. I'm curious now.
Okay.
Yeah, it's going to happen. Okay. Thank you so much, Jake. I appreciate you.
Yeah.
Take care, Jake. Take care.
Fuck you, Paul.
Jake's a delight. I love
Jake. I love Jake. He's a delight. Absolutely. That's one word to put it. Anyway. Well, that being said, why don't we move on to our next segment? Which is all right, stop, speculate, and listen.
Isn't that what we were doing?
Yeah, it is. So we actually went out of format. So we're just going to jump right ahead of that and go to the next one. Sorry, Kelsey.
Sorry. What? Huh?
We'll go with Schmoedown news.
Oh, and I just want to clarify, Lucas. They even said it during interviews like forever ago that they described themselves as frat boys with suits. So, ha.
Anyway. News. Let's talk about the news. The news is, of course, and there's nothing to get around it, is the coronavirus. We've all been coroned as far as everything being canceled, and including our beloved Schmoedown. It's very sad to say that Free For All was finally canceled as far as, well, not canceled, but as far as audiences go. We're supposed to get the Free For All, but it's not going to be in front of a live audience, which is sad because the live show energy is what brings it. But let's face it, it's probably for the best. Christian would make that decision lately, and he's just doing the best he can. It's safer for everybody. It just sucks. It sucks. What can you say?
Yeah, Lux and I, unfortunately, we had to cancel our flights and hotels and all that good stuff, but it is very necessary. It's at the end of the day, like, we personally wouldn't get bothered if, hypothetically, if we got it. However, who knows? I mean, if we had to pass it on to someone else that was older or whatever it might be, that's something to take in consideration. But at the end of the day, there's going to be a bazillion other events.
Yeah,
we're going to make up for lost time.
There will be.
It matters.
I mean, and not only Free For All, but Houston also was canceled. I know the Cinefanatics are very upset about that, and the Action Army is generally very upset about that. Even I am upset about that, even though I wasn't going to be able to go and was going to have major FOMO. I'm still sad it's not going to happen. I guess they're going to have the live matches still in the studio, maybe. So we'll still have Drew versus Mike, and whatever the title match is going to be. But it's just sad. It sucks. But I guess the problem we have right now is we just don't know how long this is going to be. We don't know how long this is. How long the? I mean, it's supposed to be Rick keeps saying, well, it's going to be a 2-week shutdown of things and everything else. But as far as live events go, until we get this thing all under control, we don't really know. It's a sad thing, and I feel bad for Christian because I know it breaks his heart to do so.
I mean, it's this is such a very new thing, and I'm really curious about now more than ever. It's important that we maintain our support.
Yes.
Not just like our viewership and be able to share and everything, but they just took on this really fantastic huge partnership with, with that company, and so they're looking to see like how are you gonna do during this time where shit really falls flat. You have to be able to come back from that. So, we have to figure as fans, we're gonna have to be able to show our support now than more than ever. And they're gonna need not only our viewership and subscribers and all that good stuff, but Skybound, thank you. Forgot what that was. But also they're, I don't know if they had, if Harloff, took out insurance for renting and everything, because they're not going to make any money from putting on free for all. Right. And they rented that huge space. And, I know it costs a lot of money to take out insurance for those events. Like maybe he thought he doesn't need to take out insurance. Maybe he did, or maybe he didn't. But, if you can, see if you can also donate through the Schmoebot or whatever may be, if you can. So,
just stay positive, people. Just stay positive. So far, we've been good as a community, being positive about the whole thing and basically understanding that it had to happen. We all know it sucks, but we get that it has to happen. There's been a couple of voices I've seen that are complaining about it, but I mean, don't be that person. It's not like Christian wanted to do this. He was working his ass off. I know he was working his ass off to make it work. I can tell you, I don't work behind the scenes, but I can know that if this could have happened in any way, shape, or form, then it would be going on. But it can't. So respect the dude, support the guys. Nobody wanted this to happen. We just got to make do for a little while and suck it up and do it. And then we'll, again, like you said, we'll make up for it in the lost time. I'll have 2 bottles of Jameson next spectacular to make up for lost time myself. I don't know about anybody else, but
I'd say I'm going to be getting trashed when that time comes.
Get trashed together.
We'll get trashed together, Paul. You'll fall asleep first, though.
Probably. I won't.
Like every time. Yeah, so it just comes down one of those things where obviously we're going to make it for lost time. We're still going to have a great time when the time comes. So definitely, if you haven't been to an event before, or if you haven't been able to, donate before or anything like that, if you've ever wanted to donate or up your Patreon or whatever it may be, now is definitely a great time to do it, or do like a one-time donation if you can, just because they're bleeding money right now. Because they're not going to be able to make money through these live events for a while.
Right. Absolutely. Oh, boy. So, yes, I am very weirded out too. It seems like Alex has some weird fantasies in her head, and I don't want to go there. So it is what it is. So I just
want you to know I love and appreciate you.
I would never.
Odin would be a very big fan of Team Action. So,
Yeah, but he's not about a big fan of shaving Saul's beard. We never want to shave Saul's
beard.
You know
what? Odin would be okay with it because he's a fan.
Are you kidding me?
He's a fan of Team Action, Paul.
He's a fan of the beard. The beard is Team Action. It's a bushy beard. It's a beautiful thing.
Any Team Action member that has a full-on beard? I don't think so. And so if there's any new member of Team Action, they will not have a fucking beard.
Bateman did have a playoff beard for a while.
Also, I love beards, though, so I digress. But still.
Just saying. Still. I think he appreciates the beard. Beards are coming back.
One of those, what if episodes. What if Saul was able to join Team Action? What if?
That is true. He did take a while to grow the beard. Either way.
He literally and he regretted it once he saw himself on camera, though. Once he saw himself on the during the Star Wars thing, he was like, "Oh God."
I don't think I have a vision of
Yeah.
Ben.
I remember him mentioning that.
I don't think I have Ben in the beard. I used to have a bearded Ben picture in here somewhere. No, I don't. I just have that one in there. It's not a bear, but it's always good to see
he
that
looks
one.
like such like a sweet summer child.
He does, doesn't he? But that's all right. All right.
But I also just want to let you guys know, when I was picking out these people, I didn't think to myself, let's go after people exclusively in the den. I just picked out competitors individually. I didn't think about factions. Just to clarify that, Sean, Jill, I just want to put that out there.
We were actually taking a lot from the den.
They're my favorite people.
We didn't mean to. We just like you guys a lot. That's all.
We love you. We just want to see you be part of the fam.
Oh, is that true? Maybe. I don't know. I guess Saul looks snazzy as hell without a beard. I've never seen you without a beard, Saul, so I can't comment on that. But
there you go.
Wish I could grow my beard back. That's all right.
Or maybe he could be like one of those like people with the beard, only it's like really snazzy, where it's like all fancy, like for the beard competition. And it could be like a whole thing where he competes and he's like stroking the beard, like like how Lon Harris was like with his pipe.
That could happen.
With the stroking the beard.
All right. Well, I guess that's all for news. Anything else further about news?
I don't think so, to be honest. We don't have any new announcements regarding matches or anything, do we?
No, we could take a look at it. I mean, this is actually part of speculation. We could actually go back and look at the matches that are coming up next week. We do have Brandon versus Chandra 3 coming up next week. We talked about it a little bit last time, I think. I want to see that match again. I love Brandon and Chandra together. I think they have a great chemistry as far as Brandon sniping anyway. So who do you got winning that match, Brandon or Chandra? Hot man or Chandra?
I refuse to say anything. I refuse. I refuse to pick.
Really?
I refuse to pick.
Why is that? You can't own up to it?
I know I actively enjoy both of them so much. Like, I'm an admin for Chandra's page, and he's wonderful. And I've helped him, and I've submitted questions for him when he helps train and all that good stuff. And, and I know Hannah, I mean, they're both individually so passionate, and they both actively study so hard. And it's just, I have a hard time envisioning either one of them winning, like, at all. Like, it is, I just can't do it.
It's all going to depend on the wheel choices. I think the wheel is going to be a big thing. And, of course, you're never going to know. I think the hot man wants this more than anything. I like the hot man.
Oh, so Chandra doesn't want it more than anything.
I think hot man wants it more than Chandra does. I don't think.
Wow, okay. But, okay.
I do. I just think that Chandra has got some success. He brought Smets to the edge in a way. I think hot man wants to get there more than he does at this point.
Yeah, I do think he is definitely, technically speaking, the undercard in this. He wants it so bad, but he did technically lose against Chandra last time.
Yeah,
so it's just, yeah,
he did, but he did lose, and but it was that. It was tough. It was tough moments in that match.
It was really tough. I remember when they both played last time, it was a great match. They both used like their challenges. They both won their challenges.
Yeah.
It came down to the very last question in the third.
That's not that term either. I think you're talking about undercard. It's not the undercard. He's the underdog, I think is what.
What I say?
I think you said undercard.
Sorry. I don't know why I said that. Underdog. Tomato. You know what I meant, Lucas.
But I mean,
John Roca, how dare you?
So bad. So
bad. You know what? But I have a hard time picking either one. Both of them are immensely.
Because in the chat,
I want Damon's ass so bad. Yeah, so bad. But with Star Wars, like,
that's how I'm picturing that.
Either way, I do think Hannah's gonna lay the smack on this kid. That's what he says. I would love to see Hannah do a lot because he's worked really hard for it. I'd love to see him really take a step up and make that Intergeekdom League even more tightly contested than it already is. It could happen either way, though. I mean, they're both very good competitors as far as interkeeping goes. If I had to pick, I'm gonna go with the hot man. You're not gonna pick, are you? You're not gonna pick.
No.
You're a coward. You're a coward right now.
Well, no, the thing is, I talk to Hannah semi-regularly. Not like one-on-one, but in groups and things like that. And just like hearing how often he studies and everything, it's so consistent and how passionate and aggressive he is. I mean, like looking back to remember like the Schmoedown match, like him against Frank Janish. He like did he lost a question because he just kept going off the rails about how he's gonna beat Chandra. He's like, and then I'm gonna dig a hole and I'm gonna put Chandra in there.
But you know what?
Dirt over it.
Sometimes when you have that laser focus on somebody, that'll help you out.
Exactly.
I mean, so
but after my one-on-one conversations with Chandra, he's talked to me about his studying process and what he's doing to really up the ante. I'm just like, oh shit, it's just getting real for IG this season. And and I remember, and I'm just like,
I can tell you that Hannah.
I can't picture one of them specifically walking away. I can just picture both of them like in the third round being like, who is it?
Right.
That's all I can envision.
Okay. Simply. That's fair enough. The other match we got next week, and it's actually good to talk about this now because he is in the chat. If he's in the chat still, we're going to be talking about John Roca versus Paulie Yama. And this is a big match.
That's why Roca's here. Maybe not. I don't know.
It's going to be a big, huge match. I want, like I said before earlier in the teams match recap, that Paul showed that he wasn't rusty. He wasn't showing any after effects of Spectacular. Although I will modify that now to say it'll be interesting to see him in singles. So see if he still shows that same kind of swagger in singles again. I know hopefully he mentioned he had some personal issues or whatever during the Spectacular. That's one of the reasons why he looked so. I'm hoping that stuff's out of the way. Whatever it was, I didn't really go into it too much.
Spectacular?
The Spectacular, at the end of the Spectacular interview, you said something.
I mean, I get some medical things, but I mean, it's all cleared up. He had like bronchitis, but he's totally good now.
That's what I'm hoping everything's
he's been vocal about it. Yeah.
I think otherwise this is a good match. Get the old lion, very, very old lion versus the young lion here, the youngest of the lions, so to speak. I want to see these two go at it because John has shown a passion about going back for the belt. He's definitely shown a passion that I haven't seen in a while from him. He wants to go up against Dan, and that would be a great match.
Yeah.
But I think he's gonna go by Paul first, who's someone who beat Dan, currently beat Dan.
It's the Roca Oyama match, a number one contenders match.
Roca Oyama, the winner of Roca Oyama will face Irwin because he beat Schneider.
Okay, so it's not
it's not a one contender now. If whoever wins between John and Paul will play Irwin to see who is who gets to play Dan.
Okay.
So I'm interested to see what's going to happen with him. I do think that John has, like I said, John's shown a lot of passion recently. As far as I have to see more from Paul to see if he comes back, because Paul has been on a little bit of except for the final experiment, except for final exam match, he had a rough defense of the belt against Schneider, where he wasn't the greatest. He got his butt kicked on it at the Spectacular. So then, is he ready to go?
Yeah.
What do you think?
We just talked about how he did great and he looks fantastic about his match with the final exam. I mean, like, what's the hesitancy with him going into this match? I mean, like, who hasn't had a fuck up match, as a competitor? Roca has had those matches, and he'll tell you it's not about how you lose those matches because they're inevitable. They're going to happen no matter what. It's more about how you come back from that. And Roca, I feel like he hasn't really had a fuck up match in a while. And Oyama, he's hungry for it. Not to say Roca isn't hungry for it. I just feel like they're very different kind of going into this match. Oyama, he's actively thinking to himself, I need to redeem myself because, oh, fuck. I had like 3 points in a championship fucking match. That's embarrassing. I'm like, that's awful. It sucks. I mean, it's, considering he was at like 6-1. 6 or 7-1. So with that being said, Roca is he's to me he's like number 1, number 2 on Mount Rushmore as far as competitors go. That's my personal Rushmore. Don't at me.
I'm still figuring out my Rushmore. I still gotta figure that out.
We need to have an episode dedicated to that. We really do.
We really do.
Yeah, but also Roca's been very vocal on Sen about how hungry he is for it. He's like he's ready to kind of prove himself as a singles competitor again.
The one thing I worry about with Roca a little bit, and this may be completely irrelevant. I can't say for sure, but I do wonder: is he looking past Paul at all? I know because a lot of people have mentioned Roca Myrtle 3.
What do you mean, like looking past?
Like,
Paul?
is he already looking at Dan? Is he already looking at? Is he like? Because when you're facing someone like Paulie Yama, you got to concentrate on each match as it comes.
Dan, and let's be honest, as long as Dan is in Schmoedown, he's never going to be below a belt holder or the runner-up.
I'm saying like I don't, but like
at every point he is going to be thinking to himself, "How am I going to beat Dan?"
Right, exactly. But there's 3 matches before that. I don't think he is necessarily looking past him. I don't think so. I just sometimes wonder if there's a lot of rumbling about that talk. I think John is good enough good enough player that he's going to call me out in there. Yeah, am I saying? I'm not saying. Like I said, I'm not saying definitively that's the case. I do goes through my head sometimes when you have that kind of. I agree. And that's why you shouldn't. And I don't think you will. I feel like I'm not doing my job. I don't look at it because if you hear the talk around the league, a lot of people are saying Roca versus Myrtle 3. And Roca's not he's got to face Paul and then face Ethan Irwin before he even gets there. Sometimes that can get murky. Now, am I saying John's going to? Absolutely not saying it's going to, but it's something that I do consider in my estimation. I do think that Braun probably won't. But it's something to think about at least. John's saying no, so I can't deny that at this point. Yeah, all right. I'm glad you're not, John, because you definitely shouldn't. Because I've been talking to Paul a lot over the years too.
I also think something to consider, Paul, kind of going into it. Not calling you PLD because that's not a thing, but something to remember, Paul, is that like for some competitors, you don't want to think 10 steps ahead. Mm-hmm. That's something you can do, but maybe that can be a strategy that can be very overwhelming. So you can think to yourself, okay, I'm not focusing on 10 steps. I'm just focusing on this one match. I'm looking to get through this one match, this one next round, or whatever it may be. And then I'll think beyond that. But as of now, I'm just looking to kick this guy's ass.
That's the way you got to do it. You got to concentrate on who's in front of you. And that's the way you got to do it. And I think John is good enough to do that. I do think that.
So that's probably the focus right now, because obviously the way you approach a competitor of Yama, someone like Oyama, he's a very different competitor versus Merle or Ben, obviously. And these are all belt holders. Obviously, it's going to be crazy difficult trying to beat any single one of them. But you might not be approaching you're might not having your strategy the same way when you kind of think about how you want to go about it.
Okay. Aaron, John, thank you. Yes. John, Jake has faith in you. That's good to know. And yes, exactly. It's just announced. It's all about the noise around you. You never know. So I get that as well. Let's go with a prediction. I mean, John's in the chat. So what do you got to predict, Alex? You got to predict. Is Oyama going to win, or is John Roca going to win? Who faces Irwin?
If I had to put my money on it, I say Roca, to be completely honest. Just because I feel like, I feel like Oyama might be going through might be focusing a little bit more on teams this time, but it could be wrong. Who knows? I don't know. But my money's on Roca.
Money's on Roca. Okay.
Yeah. If I had to put extra money on it.
It's funny. I like both competitors where their mindsets are at. Having talked to Paul a little bit too, I do. It is hard to put. It really is a coin toss to a degree because they both have a lot. They both earned a lot of my respect as far as their gameplay goes and their knowledge. Paul's got a lot of knowledge, but I feel like I'm going to go with Roca as well. Barely. If you ask me the next day, I could switch it back to Paul, but I think that Roca at this point wants wants it more at this point than Paul does. I think Paul, not that he was satisfied with the belt, but I think he might be turning it more towards teams as well. But I think Roca's saying he has to focus a destination in mind. And when you put a destination in front of Roca, it's hard to get past that because he knows what to do.
Hey, I do want to just take a minute to acknowledge something as well.
Mm-hmm.
Our friend Brian Fernandez, he's going through some really tough stuff right now. So just wanted to let you know, Brian, thank you so much for jumping in and everything. We just wanted you to know we appreciate you, and we kind of hope you kind of take some time and hope things get better. I know that you're going through a very tough situation right now.
Sorry about that. Yeah.
Our heart is with you.
We're all with you, Brian. Friend of the show, very much so. So, salute. But okay. Let's.
But just to kind of go against you, Paul, I'm going to go to Yama instead.
You're switching to Yama now. Okay.
Just somehow, to contradict you.
Somehow, because I've talked about and picking Roca, now that I talk about how Roca's going to win.
We can't agree, Paul.
Has changed your mind into picking.
We can't agree.
Saul's he's got Roca for Yama, but Roca's lack of swagger is bugging me.
Okay, what?
I don't know what lack of swagger against about the match.
Bro, I love and appreciate you, but what? Lack of swagger?
In terms of what, Saul? In terms of this match or in general? What? That's what I want to know.
What? I don't know why I find this scratch that. I understand why this is so offensive because it's not fucking true. Blue is not red. Am I drinking white wine right now? No.
You're drinking too much of whatever it is.
I wish I was. Because then I would probably read that in a different way.
Chris has a good point. That Roca's fired up after Dan winning the singles belt. I feel like that definitely sparked a lot on him too. I think it's just teammate has a singles belt now. That's kind of. I don't know if it's
more about getting hyped up to face Dan again. I'm not gonna lie, I love Dan. I'm so sick of Dan. I love him. He's so talented and he's so smart with the game and he's so fucking knowledgeable. It's just he can't win. He can't not win. It's annoying. Oh my gosh. I feel bad for anyone he goes up against.
Sick of the word is wrong. Is the wrong choice. I get what you're saying though. It's nice to see some fresh blood up there sometimes. I get that.
It's just it's so expected. If he loses, then I'm like, some of my favorite matches of all time is when Dan Murrell loses. I don't know why, but that's the pattern. And it's not because I dislike Dan. I love Dan.
Yeah.
He's fantastic.
He's definitely earned it. I think that I really honestly, personally also would like to see a Ben Bateman, Dan Murrell rematch because of that. Because that was the best match I've seen in such a long time. I really want to see that as well.
I just want someone to kick Murrell right in the face. Out of respect.
With respect. I want to kick you in the face, but do it respectfully.
Again, I love Murrell. It's just he does nothing but win. He's like that DJ Khaled song. All we do is win, no matter what. Got Schmoedown on my mind. I can never get enough. And every time I step into the arena, everybody's hands go up. And then I win again. And then I win again. Okay.
I'm not sure what we're doing here at this point.
Guys.
I'm really not sure what we're doing here at this point. I'm just kind of waiting for you to be done.
Have you not heard the song?
I've heard a song.
It's just I just want him to lose. I don't know why. He's great. He is great, but he does nothing but win, Roca. Again, I say that with love and respect, but all he does is win. It's almost nauseating. It's expected. It's expected, guys. It's expected. It's so expected that they're winning. They're so light years ahead point-wise against any other faction. It's come on, give anyone else a nibble.
They got to earn it. They got to get the nibble. They have to earn it. They have to get it. They can't just get.
Can I have some bacon with my porridge?
you're looking to give him like table scraps. That's not the way it's going to work. You got to earn that.
No, they do got to earn. I know they will. It's just not going to be. It's going to be a while until they get up into their tier because all of them they have both singles and team belts.
Yeah, either way, and the belts are being passed around the Fin Stock Exchange at this point. It's Ben, it's Drew, it's the Founding Fathers. It might be Founding Fathers with Who's the Boss at some point. But you know what? They've earned that. They've earned that at this point.
God. I just want to mix it up. Can I move it to, I don't know, they can move it to Corruption. They can move it over to Bibbs and the Kid. They can just like move it on. They can move it to the Den. I don't, at this point, I just want it to move hands. It's just, I want it. The Founding Fathers are just so good right now.
It is. They all are.
They're just so fucking good.
But I understand what you're trying to say in a roundabout way. It would be nice to see some different, some more fresh matches up there, fresh faces up there. But at the same time, I got to say that until it's earned, then it doesn't make any sense. I mean, Dan, you can say that you're tired of Dan being up there. But until Dan loses, then he's the man. He's the GOAT.
I'm not arguing he's not the GOAT. Absolutely. He is the GOAT. Absolutely.
I think that's good.
I'm just so bored with the GOAT winning every single fucking time.
Well, you gotta.
It's like season 2, and then he took a break for half a season.
You gotta stay hungry. That's what it is. You stay hungry. And that's why they're winning.
I respect that, Roca. That's why you're still a champ, and that's why you're still my number 1, number 2, and my top 10.
There you go.
My other one, but still.
That's a question for you, though. Would it make you happy if you went to Inner Geekdom and failed? With Merle, because Dan was going to go to Inner Geekdom.
Dan was going to go. Oh yeah, Dan's. Oh my gosh! If all 3 belts were in there, oh god, it will be like a zombie apocalypse. It's going to be like World War Z.
I think that Dan in Inner Geekdom is going to be very interesting to see because he obviously knows so much in the regular game. If he can just turn a little bit of that into Inner Geekdom, wow. It's going to be a feat to behold, especially if he's. I'd love to see Dan versus Mara eventually, of course, because the storyline right there is awesome.
Oh yeah, I can't wait.
But that's true. That's true, John. Also, he hasn't won every time. That's true.
Okay, that's true. It is.
You know what?
It's actually my top 5 favorite matches of all times. Actually,
yeah, your guy did beat him. That's true, John. I don't know. I can't think about anybody else who beat him.
Okay, well that's
just kidding.
I wonder. But honestly, that is like even Ghai says it. You know, I love Ghai. He's one of my favorite competitors of all time. Absolutely. But even Ghai has said it. He caught him on a day where Merle hasn't really played this higher level of competitors before, and he hasn't played competitors with these kind of development of characters or anything. Right. So it was a very new experience for him, kind of being into that. Right. So that really kind of made him off balance.
Oh, absolutely! I love you guys.
Well, now, like, I love you, Ghai, but
I love Drew Ghai. But yeah, absolutely, it was a perfect storm for him to win. It just took everything to happen. It is what it is. But it doesn't matter though. He's still TKO'd him. You still got that. He gets at the end of the day, no matter what anybody can say, he gets to hang it up on the wall.
He can frame it.
I TKO'd Dan Merle.
And it's awesome.
Yeah, you're right. It was a totally different game. You would walk him
exactly, Lucas.
But you know what? With that all being said, with all due respect, it was a totally different game. But when you're Andrew Ghai and you're facing Dan Merle, you got to do whatever it takes. You got to do what you can do and play the game to make it work. And he did. He did. You can't like say that Drew doesn't get credit for it because no matter what happened, the game was played. He did what he did, and he won the match. I mean, granted, if Dan faces Drew 20 times, if Merle faces Drew Ghai 20 times, he's probably going to win 19 and a half of those times, to be honest with you. But he gets the credit for that. So, that being said, but Merle could be the first triple belt holder, and that would be something to behold. There's not many people who can do that. I mean, Kalinowski gave it a little bit of a run, but I don't really see Mike ever winning the singles belt. I don't think he's quite as good in the singles league as others. He's a great entertainer.
Or alternatively, Roca could actually be Roca 3 belts.
Roca could do if John has said he was going to go in the Star Wars League. It'd be interesting to see if he can go ahead and do that. I mean, he is if he can do it, if he can commit. This is
actually
to training.
Like a Roca fan show.
It is a Roca fan show at this point.
It must become.
I would say that John, though, as much as I respect John, I would say it'd be hard pressed for him to win the Star Wars belt. He could give it a run. But at this point, what's going on there right now, it'll take a lot of work for him to do that, especially if he wants to keep with the tag belts and if he's going to shoot for the singles belt. I think it's one of those things you got to almost like take away and focus completely on the Star Wars League. But, John's proven people wrong before. So Johnny, 3 belts. That's where you go. It was not Mikey 3 belts.
I respect that. Okay, I feel you.
Mikey 3 belts went to Mikey 2 belts to Mikey 2 beers.
But we don't want to jinx it early. Let's be honest. Any competitor that really actively tries to think to himself, I'm going for all 3 belts, doesn't end well. But also, it's nearly impossible to do all 3 belts, But again, if it happens, can you imagine get all 3 belts and actually hold them simultaneously and defend them?
Yeah. Yeah, that's very true.
Do you have any free time ever? Probably not. Realistically.
So, all right. Well, I said John Roca. You said Paulie Yama is going to win.
I'm just clarifying. I am just saying that just to go against you, as well.
Just to go against me. Okay, fair enough.
You and I can agree on that stuff.
That's true. You know what? We should actually mention though. Let's talk about real quick, since we're in speculation mode. Since the winner is facing Ethan Irwin. Who would you get in that? Either let's you can talk about both John versus Ethan or Paul versus Ethan.
John Roca versus Ethan?
Yeah, because the winner of them faces Ethan.
For
the title.
I feel like it's kind of Roca hands down, to be honest.
To beat Irwin, you think hands down to beat Irwin?
Yeah.
Wow.
Personally, I say this because Ethan is really great with. I feel like they're both very good with, they have a lot of similar strengths and weaknesses. I do know that Ethan, he's mentioned that he does a lot of casual studying, but he doesn't do a lot of active studying. So, he likes to watch movies and stuff, and he pulls up the IMDb page, but by no means is he writing note cards or anything like that. Okay, bad.
Although that's John, I gotta call John out a little. I think that's a little bit of it's disarm the opponent, so to speak. But he's not wrong in that. I think Ethan, the big deal about the difference between Ethan and John is Ethan has a strong knowledge base. I would say that Ethan's
absolutely he does.
Ethan's overall knowledge base is probably stronger than John's, but John definitely, I think, like you said, I think John actually works harder at the game and
harder. Thrived in a team environment.
In a team environment?
Yes.
He had him and Janine. They did okay together.
They won one match,
but they didn't they
won one match and then lost in the second round against Video Drew and Tom.
Right, Looney Bin.
They lost against Looney Bin in the second round, and so it doesn't matter, But that aside, that's a whole different situation.
John has lost. John has lost to Ethan before in the for the championship. Ethan got his belt off of the Roca.
Yeah.
And then they lost in the triple threat, I think, also as well.
I also think that Ethan should probably low key be called the android because you can't read him at all. You can't bust him. You might try to be you might try to try to snap back at him or try to freak him out a little bit during the interviews or when you're at the desk and try to intimidate him or something like that. He's just no.
Scorpio. Chris Scorpio, that's a good point right there. Chris Scorpio. Irwin's a knockout artist, and if he connects, you're going down, but you cannot play him and out ski him. He's not a great game player.
Sure. Yeah, but absolutely. But again, he's not. He lost in his first defense match. Roca has won several times.
Yeah, but Irwin lost against Merle at his defense match, and then what was a match of the year?
Yeah.
I mean, that's like, I mean, let's just, I mean, you could say like a loss is a loss, but let's just, some losses are less.
Still, you know.
When you lose to Dan Merle.
Roca went up against Rachel Silvestrini, and I love Rachel, but at the same time, they went close, but a loss is a loss. Unfortunately, she lost. So, what are you going to do? You don't talk about in the notes, oh, this is a crazy intense match, blah, blah, blah. No, you talk about Roca walked away with a win.
Yeah, but some wins are more...
Records? No. When you're looking at records and standings, they don't take into consideration, well, this person was really close. No, they don't talk about that. They talk about specifically, it's just black and white when it comes to when doing.
But in terms of predictive, when you're trying to predict who people are going to do,
okay.
Ethan lost in a perfect. Dan Merle threw a perfect game. That's why Ethan lost. That's a little different. You know what I'm saying?
I'm sorry. So do you think in that case, Roca doesn't have the potential to throw a perfect game, which he's done before?
Absolutely. He does absolutely, but I'm saying that Irwin, you're talking about Roca versus Silvestrini versus Dan versus Irwin. Those are two different matches, and they have predictives. When it comes to predicting a match, I think that Irwin is it's hard to explain exactly, but
no, I believe he's immensely talented. He is. To me, he's one of the top. He's one of the he's an underrated competitor. People don't talk about it enough because he's not really involved in I honestly don't think he's talked about enough as far as competitors go. He's not on Sen. He's not in the limelight. He's not involved in storylines or anything. So he's not talked about actively, but he is definitely one of the best competitors we've seen. But that being said, it's John Roca, a multi-belt holding champion.
And I agree. And I agree with what you're saying. I'm just saying Ethan Irwin's a different beast as well. So at the end of the day, who do you got, John or Ethan?
If I had to put money on it, John, hands down.
John. Okay. I will say that my initial pick is going to be Ethan. But I do think that, I mean, anything can happen. John is definitely
absolutely. Ethan could absolutely win.
If I had to pick money on it, then it's Ethan. I think John is hungrier than Ethan, and that might be where the downfall is. I think if it comes down to gameplay, then Roca will win. If it comes down to pure knowledge, then it'll end up being.
It's never just pure knowledge anymore, though. It is gameplay.
Sometimes.
In lower level matches, absolutely, it's knowledge based. It's not about strategy all that much. When you get to that higher tier of competitors, strategy is a huge aspect.
I don't disagree. I just don't know. I don't know how much it'll come into play versus in that degree. I think that Ethan's knowledge might be enough to overtake the gameplay. I guess it's not something we talk about very much, but it's never just black and white. It's not just gameplay and just knowledge. If you have somebody who has a super amount of knowledge, sometimes they can overcome gameplay more than others. You know
sure, absolutely.
To me, Ethan has that outside of animated and family films. Ethan has that level of knowledge, which is scary. So I can never, even if he's not as big a game.
Yeah, and Roca can knock Ethan out of the park with romance and rom-coms. I mean, what's the point?
I think
it doesn't matter. They both have their strengths and weaknesses.
No, I agree. I think Ethan's got less holes than John does comparatively. I do. Could John win? Absolutely.
And Ethan can win. Absolutely.
That's why I predicted him to win. But either way, I don't know. That would be a great match either way. So let's really quickly, so we're going a little long on time. Why don't we just quickly discuss the possibility of Paul versus Ethan? Paul versus Ethan.
Paul.
You say Paul heads down. You just don't like Ethan very much, do you?
I love Ethan. Ethan's one of my top 5 competitors of all time.
And yet you keep saying he's gonna lose.
Ethan isn't as hungry for it. Paul is actively hungry for it. He is angry. So. He is low-key angry. He's looking to redeem himself. Ethan's just a cool guy that if he just happens to win a belt, kick ass. If he doesn't win, cool. But Paul is pissed. Pissed. He's in a Mad Max situation. Mad Max situation where he is going in there. Okay, but that's just me.
I gotta be honest, from what I've seen of Paul, is that not that he's satisfied, but he had such a big run at the beginning and got the belt. I almost feel like, I mean, I could be wrong. I don't think he's as hungry as you think he is. I think Paulie Yama is, not that he's like laying back or like whatever, but like he got the belt already. He did what no one could do as a rookie. I think that was kind of more of like, well,
people are talking about how he's a has-been already.
See, I don't know if that. Well, I don't know if that bothers.
People are talking about. It's like, yeah, he was great, but whatever, fairy dust. Like, it's neither here or there. He's like already being forgotten about as like arguably the greatest single season we've ever seen.
But I don't think people. I don't know if none of he cares, but I don't know if he, because he does care, but I don't think it bothers him as much as you think it does. Like this whole whether he, I don't.
Well, our argument is the exact same, except for opposite competitors. I don't think Ethan actively cares as much as Paul does.
No, I'm saying Paul. I'm saying that I don't think Paul cares about what people think about him. You're saying, oh, people are calling him a has-been. I don't think he cares what people call him. I think.
Well, I mean, that's neither here or there. That doesn't matter what people think about him. Honestly, sure, people talk about that, but I mean, like, as long as he's but he's actively hungry for it. He's pissed about it. You know, I do know people that are talking about how he's a has-been competitor already, even though they shouldn't say those horrible things. But at the end of the day, Ethan has been very vocal about how he doesn't actively study. He's more of a like, yeah, I study a little bit. I make note of the director and maybe the composer.
Why do you think that Paul's pissed though? Like, I don't see that. I haven't seen him look.
He scored 3 points in a championship match at a live event.
I think he can. I think he's let it roll off his shoulder. I honestly do. I think at this point, kind of like, yep, I got my ass kicked. Let's move on. I feel like he's more matter of fact. I don't see him as being very emotional.
For it.
I don't see him as being very emotional.
Kalinowski, no, I mean, like, I feel like he was able to kind of hold it in. Kalinowski, just because he's very vocal with his emotions doesn't mean Paul Yama isn't just as angry for his loss than Kalinowski, because, you know, he didn't storm off. He could have been just as pissed and just was able to hide it a lot more efficiently.
Perhaps. I mean, we're definitely well into the realm of speculation. We're speculating about game. We're speculating about feelings, which is really even harder to do.
Yeah. Well, also there's something I remember. This argument about who hypothetically would win in this match doesn't matter because we don't even know if either one of these competitors would win these matches. So it's this match really hypothetical who would win this
we have to wait to see Roca versus Yama first. So yeah. I guess we'll find out.
Yeah. Like, we don't even know if they're even going to be playing each other ever.
Well, I have Roca facing Irwin, so I'm going to stick with that. And we'll go from there. He wasn't, yes, you are correct. He was super emotional after his loss. I do agree with that. I just don't know if it stuck with him as much as it stuck with other people. But that's just, again, my read on the situation. But all right, those are our predictions and our looking into the near future. We don't have any other matches scheduled. We had the free-for-all, and again, with the whole idea of what's going on there, I don't know, it's going to be hard. You can't really predict that. It all depends on who's going when. So, but hopefully that'll be fun. Do we even know everybody? We don't even know everybody who's in it yet, do we?
With who?
With everybody who's in the free-for-all. We only have like little bits and pieces.
Well, yeah, a lot of people were saying that they just couldn't do it because there's a handful of areas within LA that are not so much quarantined, but they're like, hey, just stay inside at all times. Right. Avoid going to events or going to work or something if you can. It's just like certain neighborhoods within LA. Buddy, what are you trying to do?
And real quick, I just in the chat, Brian. Yes, Brian. Everyone is hungry. They wouldn't compete. That's true, but there are definitely levels of hunger between people sometimes. That's all I'm mentioning. Everybody wants it. Of course, they want to win. They want the belt. They wouldn't play if they didn't want to win, but there's levels. So free for all, I guess the best thing I want to see is I did like Bibiani picking his number. I think he must have a low number. I just don't see how that's any other way. He has a low number. He's going to start from the beginning. Hopefully play his way through.
I kind of feel like I was kind of hoping he would honestly sit out and like be at the desk so he could like constantly tell everyone else, hey, when I was in your case, I already played like 15 rounds. Do better. Hey, when I was in your place, I played like 38 rounds. How long have you been standing?
You
3 rounds?
You can't not have him play.
That would have been hilarious, though. Can you imagine?
It would be funny, but I'd rather see him put it on. I want to see him break his own record. Actually, one of the things about free for all last year that broke my heart when Murrow won that because I really want to see him.
It's just so in that case, do you expect him to be in the first pick again?
Yeah, I hope so. I really hope so.
That's not good.
I think you mentioned before. That's Christian. I think was open about this that the number selections are not really necessary. They're partially story driven as well. Like I think they put some people different ways. You want to say you mentioned it before about you mentioned the idea that you want to save some people for the end because just like Royal Rumble and WWE, you have to have some big draws towards the end of the match that you have the audience waiting for. But I think Giggity being amongst the first people, that's a big thing. That's going to be a big story to see if he can repeat his match of last year. It's a good storyline. It's a good story to have in the Rumble or the free for all itself. So I predict Giggity to be a low entry. That's what I think.
Yeah. Well, I don't think anyone actively goes into free for all expecting to win unless you're one of like the lower 5, lower 10 maybe, like 10 or below. It's already so hard to like be one of the last few, but if you're like one of the top, if you're anything above that, you're like, I'm gonna do my best, but sure as hell not gonna win.
Right.
Like no one gets unless you're Bibbs, but no one expects to be drawn as number 10 and be like, yep, I'm totally gonna win that belt. Like, let's be honest here. That's a long time to be standing up and answering a lot of questions. Against all these awesome competitors. You're going to be facing, like, essentially, like, every single competitor at that point.
Right. Absolutely. I guess the best you can hope for also is you always have cool entrances and cool surprises. I don't know what the surprises are going to be. But I don't know. Again, it all depends on what's going to happen. So, as far as
Greg Alba, though?
What was that?
Another Greg Alba?
Yeah, the problem is I think some of the entrances might be scrapped depending on where they're doing it. If they're doing it in the Globe still and without the live audience, it might not have this effect. They might not try to do it as much. That's hard to say. So
yeah, it definitely takes out a lot of the vibe for sure. And I know, like some competitors, they thrive on that,
right?
Energy, kind of keep going. Like I'm sure that's what kind of helped Bibbs.
Absolutely,
do as well as he did.
Well. I think that wraps up our news segment. We want to start getting your questions ready from the chat if you have any, but we're going to do a little bit of segment first that we call to the network. Let's talk about our upcoming shows this week, and then we will get to your questions after that. We have our shows are always pretty much we've gotten to a good schedule now, I think. We'll talk about our shows this week. We have tomorrow on Chilled Action. We are welcoming the one and only Brett Sheridan. So get ready for that. That should be a fun one. The Kate Mulligan show was fun. I feel this is going to be a similar type show, very bit of energy with that. Then a week from tomorrow, we will be reuniting the movie guys on Chill. Both Paul Preston and Adam Witt will be on together. And that should be pretty fun too. That's going to be a great banner between the two. I think I will say it's again, their video before the draft, I still will watch that every once in a while because it's so hilarious. And then finally, I think I can announce this now. We dotted the I's and crossed the T's. The week after that, the 30th, we'll be welcoming on an OG action. I remember, no matter what Jake Yakubeta says, Janine the Machine will be on Chill to Action. So that's Chill for this upcoming segments.
Mm-hmm. That's gonna be pretty awesome. I love them and together. They're so charismatic. I mean, they bounce off each other so well.
Yes, I agree. And yes, Brett Chill should hit the spot. So.
Oh,
so
yeah.
What about you? Why don't you tell Schmoedown? Talk about Schmoedown. What's going on with Schmoedown this week?
Yeah. So next Wednesday, we're going to be premiering a match. This upcoming Wednesday, we're going to be having a match between Malcolm Goldie-Lay from the Fan Leagues, which is going to be really awesome, from Take 5, going up against David B, musician.
Take 3.
Mm-hmm.
Take 3.
Yeah, that's what I said. Take 3.
You said Take 5.
Oh,
Take 5 is a jag.
Oh, sorry. Take 3. Whoops. Yeah, take 3. But they're going to be going head to head in a, battle, and it's going to be really awesome. Actually, I'm going to be having my judges are actually going to be Brandon Hanna and Brad Gilmore.
The boat
himself. So it's going to be fantastic. It's going to be a great time. And thank you, Lucas, for clarifying. It's a Take 5 is a delicious candy bar. Thank you. But yeah, so that's going to be a really fun time. And actually, I'm actually in the process of actively working with the movie guys to actually come on the week following. So that's going to be a really fun time. Hope as well. We're kind of wrapping things up right now. But fingers crossed, everything's good to go. And it's going to be, next Wednesday.
That'll be Movie Guys Week.
What?
That'll be a Movie Guys Week on Call to Action.
I know. Yeah, it was definitely not planned that way, I promise. But also, here following, I'm gonna be doing a Schmoedown with my co-judge, moderator, whatever you want to be, with Roca himself.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Sweet. I can't wait to see that.
Yeah, it's gonna be real fun. So I can't wait.
As far as the other shows, I don't believe AAA has a show this week or not. They haven't mentioned it to me. Did you hear anything about AAA this week?
Actually, this Thursday, scratch that. No, they're not going to be they hosted bi-weekly. They just hosted one, I believe. Right. So they're not doing it this week. They're doing one next week. They haven't picked a competitor. So you guys, if there's a competitor that you guys do want to see AAA really dissect and kind of figure out how to beat them, please let us know in the comments or let us know right now in the chat. That would be really awesome.
Yeah, we'll talk their way.
Roca. That would be a solid one on how to beat Roca. Especially considering this conversation. Or Ethan Irwin. I feel like that would be a solid one.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so was last week, hence. But maybe the next upcoming episode for sure. But yeah, I know it's going to be a really interesting few weeks for Here With Us at C2A.
And we can make the semi-soft announcement now, I believe. We do have an anniversary coming up on March 28th, and we are planning a show of some kind. So get your date books and mark that in there, because that should be a fun show. We don't know exactly what's going on yet, but there's something going to go down for our 2-year anniversary, also / our celebration for hitting 1K. But that should be a lot of fun too. I'm not sure exactly what's going to be, but I'm sure we'll all make appearances at some point. So
yeah, it's going to be so much fun. We're going to see what we can do. It's going to be, all of us are going to be jumping in and out. And we're going to be playing a whole bunch of games. I'm hoping we play something along the lines of like Cinephile or something. That would be awesome. Just saying, I love Cinephile. Yeah, so that would be all that in a bag of chips. But yeah, guys, thank you so much for subscribing and participating as much as you have. I mean, like, you guys are the beast to the fucking knees. We love you. We really do. We appreciate you.
So it'll be time now. If you guys have any questions from the chat for Schmoedown related purposes or non-Schmoedown related purposes, or anything Alex and I can answer, we'll be glad to do so. Now is your chance. Speak now or forever hold your breath.
Paul, dare me to drink the rest of this.
I dare you to drink the rest of that.
Okay. Oh, you convinced me. Pull my leg.
Chug it. Keep going. Tip it up. You got it. Good there. And perfect. Girl after my own heart. Gotta say that.
We're siblings.
Rank the White Claws. That's all you, Alex, because I'm not a big White Claw guy.
Okay. Does that include new ones? Because I'm going to be honest, I haven't tried the new ones. I want to so bad. I need to get some. Okay, let me get a pen. Okay. Hold up. Okay, so we have grapefruit, ruby grapefruit. We got lime.
Mm-hmm.
We got mango. What else do we have? I can't remember.
I got Jameson and Jack Daniels, and that's about all I got. So.
Oh, Nikes. Oh, we got black cherry. Hey, babe.
Oh, you know what?
Babe,
we can say no. Don't worry about it. As Robert mentioned, we should rank them on our special episode. So we could actually table that and save that for the episode. It's probably a good idea.
But this is how it would be. For reference, though.
A preliminary answer. There you go.
Ruby grapefruit, lime, black cherry, and then mango. I'm not a fan of the mango. It's like, that's just me. Because I haven't tried the new flavors with like watermelon and everything.
Maybe we'll do a deeper dive on the anniversary show. That'd be kind of good. But Robert has another question. What did you think of Hellraiser?
I feel like I regret tagging Mark in that Twitter post I made. Because I feel really bad.
What? That it's about like skinless eroticism?
I didn't realize it was considered like a sexy movie. I was like looking it up on IMDb and how like a lot of people are like really into it for like sexy stuff, and I was just like, cool. And there's a lot of supposed to be like sexy stuff in the movie, and I'm like, oh, okay.
Pinhead's not sexy to you? You don't like Pinhead?
No, it's just like she's like really into this like skinless dude, and she's like, yeah, I'm so turned on by this. Yeah, I'll call you daddy. I'm just like, oh God, no. No, he has no skin. Why?
That is something. As one hot take. Alex always up for the hot takes. Nobody else talks about.
I didn't realize it was a movie that's like low key actually about that. I thought it was just a straight up like torture movie.
Let's move on. I think.
Okay, what is that movie by Eli Roth where they're like in like Croatia or something?
Hostel.
Sorry.
Hostel.
Hostel, yes. So like Hostel is like low key about hating immigrants.
Okay.
It's like figuring that out, and once you hear it, you're like, oh shit. It's just like, oh, once you see it, you can't unsee it.
Gotcha. Okay, fair enough. Let's see. Partis Justin Dawson wants to know when we're gonna get you on the Action Guys. Well, I don't know. I got on because they're quarantined, so I'm helping them out. So I'm sure we can get her on at some point, though. Actually, probably.
Cool. I don't know. I don't think they need me. Let's be honest. I like just hanging out in the cat.
That could be something actually that the Action Guys are thinking about doing, possibly doing call-ins and stuff on a new format eventually. So, especially at the Commander-in-Chief level, you might have one of those first dibs to get on. So we'll have to see how that is. Lucas has a question for Jake. Do you regret coming into bat for Alex? I think he does. I think he smartly does at this point.
I'm sure.
Alex temporarily had someone on her side, but it quickly went away because.
Okay, like these are just personal opinions.
And they can be wrong.
I'm okay with that, but also alternatively, you can be very wrong. So
yeah, but that doesn't happen very often.
Sure. Okay, bud. Okay.
Brian wants to let us know he's working on something for C2I. That's very nice of you, Brian.
What do you? It's like I'm curious what you're making. He is a fantastic DJ, and he actually he made a song for Ladies' Night. However, and it's actually available on. Whatchamacallit? Cloud, the Spring Cloud. Which one? That one.
I'm not sure which one you mean, but that's okay.
I'm not sure entirely either.
I'm sure somebody will say it.
Unfortunately, yeah, we couldn't figure out how to get it from there to like save it as a regular file. We weren't really sure, so we couldn't figure out how to use it. But we wanted to really bad. But what are you gonna do?
We'll figure it out.
Yeah.
Charger, was there any old movies that you were looking forward to, Ready to Rumble or Face Off?
I don't understand the question. So it's like Ready to Rumble is saying like he was like, are you ready to rumble? SoundCloud.
Looking forward to watching SoundCloud. That's it. Maybe you mean Starger. You can clarify. Maybe you mean watching during the contagion, so to speak. Is that what you mean?
Oh, yeah, I'm not really sure. I gotta be honest, I'm not really sure what that means, but
we'll move ahead, and if you can clarify what you mean, Starger, that'll be fine.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Yes, he wants the watermelon White Claw so bad.
I want to try the tangerine one. I love citrus flavors.
I think that Dan Merle's reaction to the AAA video kind of proved their point that you can get in his head. Sort of a doth he protest too much situation. I think that's an interesting take.
Absolutely. I remember reading that and talking to Dylan, the host, and asking him about that. I was like, hey, I was like, are you going to respond or what? And because I know AAA in particular, Dylan and Nat, when they do make those episodes, it's completely out of respect. The ideas going into it is without any kind of bias.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they're going exclusively by the numbers of how this person competes. You know, what is considered a strength, what is a weakness, based on these percentages. And but also it is kind of true. I remember like mentioning it, talking to them in the chat when they premiered that episode in particular. They kept bringing up the Ghai match as if Merle, when he played like 3 seasons ago, when he came back into Schmoedown, you know, as if he's the same player today. Because there's a lot of competitors that Merle has faced since where they try to do the big, villainous thing.
Right.
And it doesn't work out.
Right.
So you can't really use that logic against them, which he addressed.
I will say you can, it's kind of you can affect him. I know, but as far as whether that affects his gameplay, I think that's the difference. He can still be affected. I think in the triple threat match against Shazam, he drew when beyond that challenge, it definitely got into his head a minute. Unfortunately, instead of throwing him off his game, it just made him laser focus harder. He went right at won the match, kicked ass. So that's an interesting point, but. So maybe that's against this point. He can get his head, but if you do, it might not be for your benefit anymore.
Yeah, I do. It's like just kind of bringing that back up. Robert says, "Are you looking forward to Ready to Rumble or Face Off?" I think that he's just referring to the titles, the movies, because they're capitalized. Are you looking forward to Ready to Rumble the movie or Face Off the movie?
Well, I love both those movies, so I will say that I don't have any plans to watch them anytime soon again, but. Face Off is definitely a possibility I could watch again. Ready to Rumble, I'm not a huge fan of it. It's not a movie I go back to watch very often. Face Off, I'll go back and watch every once in a while just because I love watching Travolta beat Cage and Cage beat Travolta. So two great actors there. What do you think of Face Off? Do you like Face Off?
I've never seen it.
Oh God.
I didn't grow up watching those movies. I didn't. My brother wasn't into those movies. I didn't grow up watching them. I will watch them eventually. I just didn't grow up with them, man. I will watch it eventually. It is on my list. I mean, I watched Hellraiser and Candyman today. I watched Frozen 2, Pikachu, and The Island yesterday. I'm like actively trying to watch new movies right now. So heck, maybe I'll do a little double feature tomorrow.
Just watch Face Off for me. Do that for me.
It's just, there's a lot of movies I have yet to see, man.
Fair enough. I will say I'll give you a little slack, but definitely watch it soon. All right, let's see. Anybody else in here? That's true. I just shot off my hair there briefly. I have hair. I know. It's
hair for the first time.
And it is actually on screen. I know. It's amazing, huh? Let's see. Anything else? I think that. Oh, how did you like The Island? You saw The Island. How did you like The Island?
Oh, it is. It's I think it's a fun story. I also like Sean Bean. I love him in any kind of villainous character. He's a fun time. But also, it's such a fucking Michael Bay movie. There's like a 45-minute action scene. It's just like one long action scene. There's like no calmness at any point during those 45 minutes when they're on the run. The most interesting part to me was actually when they were locked in.
Mm.
Kind of going through the world, their everyday stuff and everything. So that was like the most interesting part. And then they just got out after like 30 minutes. And I was like, oh, this is it for the next hour.
I have to rewatch it. But I think I watched that in the theaters. I don't think I've seen it since the theaters though. So it's been quite a while for me.
I mean, it's a fun time. It's something that's fun to have in the background while like cleaning the house or something. You know,
that sounds about right. That actually sounds about right for most of Michael Bay movies, to be honest with you. Let's see. Part of Jason again. What movie that was postponed or moved due to the coronavirus are you looking forward to the most and are bummed about the move?
Oh, can we like pull up a list? Is there like a list? I know Mulan,
Bond would be
James
Bond, No Time to Die, New Mutants. Again, poor New Mutants. Holy shit. That 4 fucking movies just never can catch a break.
Like on Hulu or something, dude. I mean, I feel bad now. Like, there's no point. That Spy movie did open up though. I think it was with what's
My
his
Spy
name?
is yeah.
Where he's like a cool spy that's also like babysitting ish.
Yeah, pretty much. Well, that's true. Good point. Saul's calling you out. You're focusing on new movies like 2005's The Island?
No, they're not new movies. They're new movies to me that I haven't seen.
Like Face Off.
There's a million. I didn't grow up watching a lot of movies when I was little. I didn't. Like I watched the same like maybe 30 movies total. We didn't go to the movie theaters when I was a kid. The only movie like I remember going to the movie theater like once every other month as a family. It was just Disney movies and the occasional stuff on VHS.
Fair enough.
But it was just a handful. But I didn't start going to the movie theater like actively until I was in high school, until I started going on the occasional date. And then I was like, oh, this is a movie theater. People actually get popcorn.
Poor child.
No, like my parents were like, no one goes. Like, he was like, no, we're too poor to go to get popcorn and candy at a movie theater. And so I, as a family, we were like, no, if you like, you just go directly to the theater itself. You don't go in line and get popcorn. Like, we would sneak it in our purses if we wanted snacks.
I definitely had a different father. Well, I did sneak in candy. That's true. My father used to take us to the drive-in or take us to the theaters. He'd go to like the grocery store and get these big ass candy things, but we couldn't go without popcorn, so we would definitely get popcorn. Also, like on some military bases, they would have movie theaters that they would like show a movie like that would be released like that would be shown like 2 or 3 months after it's been released. And so I remember seeing like X-Men for the first time in theater, and we were like in most of the base movie theaters, you're allowed to bring food and drinks and stuff from the outside into the theater. Yep. And so that was like my only theater experience for a very long time. I used to go to the theaters all the time as my father. That's why I love movies. I think my father used to take me to movies like every week. He loved movies. So Robert Allen has got a good list right there. F9, that's supposed to be 9. Mulan, New Mutants, Quiet Place 2, and Bond are probably the biggest ones that got pushed back so far.
Oh, just saying, Robert, I do have one. A Letterboxd account.
Oh, you do?
I do.
Am I following you yet? I don't know. Let's see. I love Letterboxd also. I love Letterboxd. Let's see. Well, I will say that, okay, just going back to that question to answer it real quick. I think Bond is what I missed the most. Quiet Place 2 is also a close second, but I feel like we'll get that sooner than November. So I'll go with Bond.
I'm honestly most excited for Quiet Place 2. And Mulan is a very close second.
I do as well.
Yeah. As an Asian, like I grew up in an Asian household growing up. Mulan was my girl.
Okay.
So that was a big deal.
Peace out, Chris. And Camshaft wants to know about your ailment and your new show. Is something you can talk about, or?
Oh yeah. So Video Drew and I were doing a little show for anyone that's like on our Patreon and everything. I'm not entirely sure if it's going to be available for non-Patreon members, but it's going to be called Cinema Bias. It's going to be really fun. So it's going to be really fun. So pretty much we talk about some of the movies that we are super duper passionate about. And we were talking about why we're passionate about it specifically. And, maybe it'll be over movies that she's passionate about, certain movies that I am not passionate about. These are very new movies for me. So she's having me watch Video Drone, and I'm terrified and I'm ready to cry. I don't like torture porn, and I don't like body horror. But also, Robert, he's actually doing the thumbnails for us, so thank you so much for doing that. So pretty much we go
Robert
about
Adams?
Ryan Adams.
Oh, sweet.
Sorry, Robert Adams, not Ryan Adams. Robert Adams, he's making for us. But so we talk about things like why it's important to not only us individually, why it's sentimental potentially, but why it's important for anyone to watch this. What kind of impact does it have on our culture, if at all? Any actors, prominent directors, or what it may be that was involved with it, if it was a launching pad or whatever it may be. If there's any aspect that was like particularly really interesting creatively, or the story or whatever it may be visually. But yeah, I know Drew, she's really excited to talk about the production aspect of this movie, especially. So I'm kind of curious about that. But next time we actually watch it, I'm going to be having her watch the Pussycat Dolls.
Oh boy.
Boy.
That should definitely be fun.
So
okay, cool. That's going to be great. Robert, that's where I was a little behind. That's where I see Robert talking about Letterboxd. Thank you, Robert. I do a lot of work on my Letterboxd. Do a lot of lists and stuff. So.
I don't know if you can see it. I don't know. Maybe.
I have built so many lists in the background you don't even know. I rank every movie and like every actor's filmography and stuff recently. Some of them are only public. I only have like 26 public.
It's
like 1,000 lists I've started. So
it's ALEMCFA. That's my name on there.
I don't even know what mine is. I have to look it up. Maybe I'll have to do. Wondering if I was nervous to say he didn't think Roca would win with Roca in the stream. No, I'm not nervous at all. I don't. I always say what my truth is as far as what matches. But I'm not easily influenced by people in the chat. And plus, now that John and I are on good terms, I know we can bust each other's balls a little bit, and I think he respects my opinion, and I respect his. So I'm no problem telling him when I think he'll win or lose. Is what it is. Let's see. Anything more? Yes, that I did want to say that during your rant. It is not torture porn. So.
You're right. It's body horror, and that in itself is kind of a form of torture for me. So.
That could be an interesting dual feature. That is not bad. Attack the Block would be kind of a cool, interesting pairing with it. Let's see. Anything else? I think that will do it. I think that's it.
This is a long ass episode, Paul.
It is. We should probably wrap it up anyway. We're over 2 hours. Jesus Christ. Kelsey would not be happy with us. But that's all right.
She'd be like, "Get out of here, guys."
I will say that. I am never influenced. Well, I'm always influenced by you in life, Saul. I'm influenced by you in life. So being in the chat doesn't matter to me either way. So that's what we'll say. Alice, where can they find you?
Oh, sorry. Why did I say Pussycat Dolls earlier? It's Josie and the Pussycats. Sorry.
Oh,
the movie. I stand corrected. I don't know why I said that. Yes, you can find me at running the Call to Action podcast. Twitter handle at Call to Action Pod. That'd be really awesome if you give us a follow us there. But also like and subscribe to this page. Please leave a comment. We're still a very much a growing YouTube page, and we can't really do that without the necessary thumbs up and without the necessary comments here and there. So I'd really appreciate if you guys leave any suggestions, anything you guys want us to kind of talk about or kind of touch base on in the next episode. But also, I personally run the how we go about us in like audio form and podcast form via Anchor. So definitely check us out on Google Podcasts, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, all that good stuff. And you can definitely check us out there.
Perfect. And with Video Drew now. Also, you can find you there too. Go on Patreon of Video Drew, and you can see Alex teaming up with her. As far as I go, at Paul_Denuzio on Twitter. Also find me on patreon.com/Team Action. We definitely have been really kicking ass with that recently. New tiers, new excitement, the Captain's Cabana coming up, all sorts of things going on with Ben and Drew. And you can occasionally see me on the Action Guys, at least while they're under quarantine, because I'm helping them out with StreamYard. I might make an appearance, I might not, you never know. I'll also say real quick on Chilled Action, I'm also on Class Action, which is a show on the Action Industries YouTube channel. Myself and Richard Eric Jarvie take two opposing views and go and rank. I put them up against each other on the basis of 5 categories and see which one comes out on top. And then finally, I have opened up a YouTube channel called PLD Projects. I do a Star Wars show and a show on V, the 1983 sci-fi classic saga. And we have more stuff coming up there too. So have to keep an eye out on that. So I guess that's where you can find both of us. So thanks again, everybody, for tuning in to Call to Action Live, episode number 69. Chill tomorrow, Schmoedown on Wednesday, and of course, Call live next Sunday. And I salute you. Peace out.